should be live. I don't know. Let me just get it all set up here, you guys. Turn that off. I'm just going to send out a couple links here. We're going to be working on. I'll be saying this a bunch of times because I don't know. Actually, this one will probably most likely be re-uploaded to YouTube, so you guys aren't just sitting around waiting. We're going to be working on. I think there's 3 Patreon commissions. And those are just like silhouettes and roughs. So we'll be doing those. And then after that, it's straight into Jesop King. We're going to be doing some coloring. I think it's on like 4 pages or something. So it's pretty much a full workday that I'll be streaming. I'll be leaving in a few hours anyway. Other than that, we're just going to be straight drawn. How's it going, James? So just give me a second. I apologize to people watching the recorded version here. I'm just going to send out a quick plug. Let's hashtag that. Let me post the. Almost done. I think that's it. Oh, one more. And that'll be it. Cool. Okay. So let's get this going. All right. Let's see what we have to do today. I think I'm going to start with this one. So, this is the best part about Patreon, at least my patrons anyway. Usually, when they ask for commissions, there's like 1 or 2 that'll ask for, I wouldn't say normal stuff, but like things that I guess you would consider normal, meaning like a superhero or something like that. But then I get a few other patrons that are asking for like some really cool stuff, and it's like so. I'm not used to it. A great example here is like, okay, so we're gonna be working on a Turin from, is it Turin? It's been so long since I played Mass Effect, but it's not a Turian. Is it a Turian? It is Turian. Okay, so Turian, which is gonna be great. Some of you guys might not even know what the hell I just said. Then there's, I think this is from an anime. I'm not sure. What is this guy's name? Psycho Arm or Psycho Mob Psycho something. I don't know. Just these weird things. And then this one takes the cake. This one is probably the oddest request I've ever had. I think RuPaul, the drag queen. So, I mean, essentially, it's just drawing like a good-looking girl is what I'm going into it doing, right? I don't know how to draw necessarily a drag queen unless there's something with the features, perhaps, so we can maybe add a little twist to masculinity in there. But again, like it's so random. Like that's not something I would normally just go out and go like, you know, I can't wait to draw like a drag queen today. Nothing wrong with it. It's just it's interesting. And like I say, we'll be doing the silhouettes and the roughs today of it, so we won't be going into the details. I'll be worrying about that next week. Where are we at here? Bust sketches. Here we go. And so I think we're gonna use. Yeah, we'll keep this one like this kind of stuff. The same person they asked for, if you guys remember, we did Lemmy from Motorhead. So just let me get this all set up here. How do I spell her name? RuPaul. RuPaul. So good. Hey, Jojo. What's up, bud? Hi. Here, we'll move you over here. There you go. Okay, so RuPaul. Thanks, man. I didn't watch the Switch like presentation. I did have some breakfast, and I was looking at some YouTubers that I watched to see what they were saying. Seems interesting. The price is like, that I think that's one thing a lot of people they look at right away, and I do too. So it's out of my price range for sure for now for what it is. I need to like for me to get like a new system, I got to get games. There's got to be something that's for me anyway, a reason to buy it. And I believe Zelda I can still get on my Wii U if I'm even interested in that, and I'm not sure because I just got a bunch of like role playing games for Christmas, and I play games when I can, but for the most part it's drawing, right? So role playing games they take a long while to get through. So I don't know, but it is Zelda. Not sure about the Mario Kart. Like this is the one thing that kind of has me on tilt a little bit with it is that I just bought like a Wii U. It feels like maybe 2 years ago, maybe three, and now there's a new system out, and I didn't even really get for myself anyway a lot of mileage out of the last even the Wii, the one before that I didn't really get, and the GameCube before that I didn't really get much. You know, I get more out of their mobile stuff, not mobile, sorry, like the 3DS and the DS stuff. I get more out of that myself, so I don't know. I'm not sure. So we'll see how it goes. And the one thing that is cool, right, is that it is almost it's basically portable. But the thing is with like the DS and stuff like that, you can put it in your pocket, you can put it in your bag, and I don't know all the details for this stuff just yet. But oh, here we go, Jessup. But I just don't know how portable it really is. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't, I don't. I'm assuming anyway, unless you got huge pockets, you can't really put it in your pants. In your pants pockets. Your backpack it could probably go in there and things, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I've gotten, like I said, more value out of their like the 3DS and stuff like that. So we'll see how this goes. What is this guy's name? Let's just click here. Mob Psycho 100. Interesting. Mob Psycho. What's up, buddy? You gonna draw with me today? You gonna draw today, bud? You gonna fill in all the inks? Yeah? Okay, cool. Guess we got our first assistant of the day here. What'd you think about it? What'd you think about the whole thing? Yeah, same here. Out of my price range, my kid would be pissed, but that's. See, like if I had a kid, maybe it might be different, with like Mario Kart and all those sorts of things. I don't know. Smash Brothers and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know. Skyrim on the go is pretty cool. But like I played the hell out of Skyrim. I got like I've already picked up the what's it called? The enhanced edition or whatever that just came out. So I feel like I'm just like swimming in Skyrim. I'm done. Like I don't. The idea of playing it portable is cool, but you know what? This whole conversation always reminds me of uh, when we were talking, going all the way back to like the iPad Pro and the Surface Pro and stuff, portable desktop and like workstations, and just to be real with myself, I don't like travel anywhere, and when I do, it's rare. So like these portable stations and stuff are kind of like it's neat, but I get more into the things like okay, well I can play in bed before going to bed and stuff like that. But then at the same time, it's like well, probably should just be sleeping, man, instead of playing video games in bed. But to each their own. I'll probably watch it a little bit later today. Okay, so everything's all set up. Like I said, we're gonna start with this Turian character here. So I'm gonna just delete this. And this stuff should go pretty quick. Because all we're working on the silhouette and the rough stages right now. And let me just get my artwork up here. Oops. And then pull you guys up. Okay, cool. So yeah, we're doing roughs and silhouettes. So you guys will be able to see what the hell's going on with all that. Let me just blah, blah, blah. Somebody wanted the just pencils though. Okay, that was that one. Okay. Alright, so let's get our silhouette brush here. Just a big fat nasty brush. And all we're worried about here is trying to fill up the space with like an interesting design. The reference I have, I can kind of see what's going on here, but most of these here, they're just meant to be like bust shots, right? I like to get at least like an arm in here or something. And we could play with perspective and all that. Get his head somewhere in here. Let's flip it, take a look. And a lot of these too, I try to like, I try anyway. Sometimes it's super hard to get like a really interesting shot, but like something like this, I feel like it's already getting into that, it's a bus shot sort of feel. So maybe we can make like a new layer here. We'll just go with like a different gray. And we'll do something fancy with his gun. So they got like these little lankier sort of arms. Alright, I think I'm going to just cheese this out here. This is the John Rector pose. Where everybody's standing and they've always got like a fist up at you. I do it all the time with like Galactus and stuff. I find a lot of with like these commission sorts of things. Not that like times of the essence, but sometimes this isn't really, well, I guess it's a commission, but the bus sketches, or if you're at a convention and people are asking you for sketches and stuff, the art side, at least for me, is always like you want to make something new and fresh and unique every time. But the reality is, if you're fortunate enough to have like, let's say, a lineup or something, right? That'd be cool. But if you were to have something like that, um, you need to be able to move through those things pretty quick, right? You want to help or get as many people's sketches. Plus, if you're making money on it too, that's great. So if you have like a few like standard poses that you like to use, I find that it helps you out a little bit there. I'd have to buy a Switch if it came with Clip Studio. Yeah, imagine that. Thanks. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. Alright, so I'll give a little bicep here. And this is really it for silhouettes, right? So let's save this up. Job's done. We're all done. We don't gotta do any more work. No, I'm just joking. So what we'll do is we make a new layer above all this, in case those of you are a little unfamiliar with it. And I draw in white. You can do this with an eraser, but what I'm trying to do is we carve in shapes from here. But before we do that, I almost jumped a whole spot here. We're going to grab our perspective ruler and put a perspective for this stuff to fall into. So we'll just do something simple. That. How far away is that? Yeah, we can go over here. And we'll just draw a grid. Lower the opacity so we can still kind of see it. Alright, so I like to figure out where there's certain key areas here, right? So I know that we're going to have a shoulder here. How do these guys' anatomy work? Deep collarbones. The center of their body. So when we have this perspective in here, you can see what it helps do. It helps show like you can't see like this area on the body because the perspective is beneath us. So I know I can kind of like not hide, but place the neck in a hidden sort of way back there, where you wouldn't really see much. And it also helps with this guy's wearing a lot of armor, but I'm just putting just for myself just some like keystone areas they're called, so I can kind of see it in my mind where, okay, so this is where his pecs kind of line up. Then they have, it's not human anatomy, but it's close enough. And I'm just going to gesture in where there's certain features. This is just the silhouetting stage. Again, I'm going to say that a billion times. So it's more so just capturing where some of these ideas are. And then the next stage is the roughs, where we would tighten up this stuff a little bit more before going into like the tight line art. Alright, so they got this kind of thing, and then they got like these cool, is that black? No, let's get black. Cool little spiky things. Alright, so all back here they got like this really cool armor. And if you guys like, I know you're not looking at what I'm looking at, but Mass Effect, the artwork, if you dig that stuff, check out I think the lead artist was Matt Rhodes. Rhodes. Guy's got some insane stuff on there. Pretty sure he designed all these guys, all the races in Mass Effect, which is really cool. So just do like the, I was going to give him the fist, but maybe we can actually just put the hand out, because I don't want to hide those fingers. It makes it look alien. So maybe, I don't know what he could be doing with his hand. Maybe just kind of have it out there. If you have time later, I'd love to hear any tips on making repeating pattern brushes in Clip Studio. Man, I don't even, there was a tutorial I watched a while ago. I don't actually think I have anything though. The only one I've ever made was like these pattern brushes here of bugs. Here, I'll show you these ones. I think I've shown them before. This one's, I think, maggots. Oops, it's drawn white. Let's go black. And it was for one of the covers we had to do where we were drawing pestilence. But this isn't what you're talking about. This is, you're talking about like making, if I hear you right, like chains, you know, like actual like interlocking chains. So when you draw them, it's like no matter where you go, you get the chain. What I would recommend doing or checking out is, it's sort of like reverse engineering some of that stuff. So if you go to, try to find it, it's under patterns. Let me see if I can show it to you, or show it for you. It's not hatching patterns, maybe it's in here. Let's see if this works. Okay, well this one will work. Here, I'll show you. Whoops. Let's get rid of the maggots. So like this melody brush, here, I'll make it real big. So as I'm drawing, it's music, right? Like this is cool stuff. If this is what you're talking about, what I would recommend checking out is, so you grab this, right? And then you go down to, where is it? Is it this one? No. Tool properties at the bottom here, I believe. And there's like a little, is it this one? No, you open up the wrench, okay? So once we have the wrench open here, this is what I'm talking about, that reverse engineering. What I would do is, I think it's under, it's one of these brush tip, I think. Yeah, so you have to install a material. But what you can do is you can find where this material is located, and then open that up in maybe Photoshop or here in Clip Studio and see what they're doing, and then redraw over it or adjust it based on this, and then just import the material here. I know this sounds like a lot of work, but just draw something, import it here by clicking on this little icon here. It popped off screen, but put anything in there and then see how that looks, because you might just get that look you're looking for, and then just make a new brush by clicking on the new brush button, and then just save that. That's what I did with the maggots and stuff. Like, I didn't know how to do that stuff, so I was looking at the rocks and things they have, the really cool basic stuff. And then from there, you know, I made like little cheesy things like this. I think it's a brush texture. This is just more for, you know, if you got like plants and stuff up front in a foreground or in a background. They don't stay like this, but it's a great little launching point, you know, to kind of get you started instead of how you would traditionally work with like grabbing a big ink brush and inking over and over again. I'm trying to get those sort of looks. Okay. So I think this one's pretty much good to go. I don't have too much time left to spend on this. I know it doesn't seem like much, but really from here, you can put any kind of line work you want over top, right? And he's got a lot of armor and stuff, so I'm not going to worry about that just yet. Yeah, I think it's pretty much done. So let's save that up. What's the stages after this here? Sorry, I just gotta grab Trello here. Rough liner. Okay, yeah. So, oh, I guess we are doing roughs today. Okay, sorry. I'm jumping the gun. I just want to get into coloring right away, right? So I'm skipping what I'm supposed to be doing here with this stuff. Okay. Hey, yeah, no problem. Hope it works for you, man. It's like the simplest way to do something. So make a roughs folder. I'll fill this guy with white. Then we can lower the opacity here. And again, this isn't tight line art that we're doing here, right? So what I'm going to do is grab just my line art brush. Actually, we'll do a fine line art. Nah, we'll do line art. Just sort of a thicker brush. That way I can't get in and get lost in the details. But what I'm doing here this stage is I need to put enough information here for us to go into the tight line art stage. But enough that we're not like redrawing over and over again, you know? So let's save up a new version of this. So go rough. And hello everybody that's in the chat and stuff. If you guys are following me here, you just popped in. So we're going to be doing 3 of what you're seeing right now. This one's almost done. They don't take very long at all. Of a Turian here for Mass Effect. These are Patreon commission awards. So if you're interested, head on over to patreon.com. You can check out my stuff there. Once a month I do these things for people. I like to share them with you guys so you guys can see the process and all that good stuff. But we got a Turian. The next one is a character from an anime, I believe, or it could be a manga called Mob Psycho 100, I believe. And that one we're just doing pencils, which is interesting. The guy just wanted to kind of see how I'm working with that stuff. So I'm going to send him like the whole Clip Studio Paint file. I hear a cat yakking right now. One sec. And then the last one is really interesting. RuPaul, the drag queen, and that one's gonna be that's gonna be something else, man. Yeah, this is basically kind of like Garrus from Mass Effect. Yeah. You guys hearing this? I'm gonna have to be right back to clean this up. Doesn't sound good. Poor guy. How do I say your name? Peligan 4. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Just a question about line art. What size pen do you usually use and what size? I'm a novice at Clip Studio, so any help would be great. Okay, so I'm just going to do some super lame plugging on you here. If you're interested, head over to Patreon. Any amount that you pledge, so the minimum $1, you'll get access to all these brushes here that I'll show you. I'm going to run through them with you right now if you're not interested. But those brushes, they're all the ones that I use here. And you can just import them in and then at the end of the month cancel and you're good to go if you're interested in that. But if you got some time on your hand and you want to do this yourself, by all means, man. So what I normally do is I work at 600 DPI, but the size that you're actually drawing on actually matters, okay? So do I have... Let's give me 1 second here. I'll let that hairball on the ground just, you know, like caramelize and make it difficult to clean up while I explain this to you here. Just give me just 1 second here. Okay, I can't see it, but I feel like I always need to have this out here. But the DC Comics Guide to Digitally Drawing Comics, that's where this whole workflow comes from. So in that, Freddie Williams, he's a DC, Marvel, all over the place artist, and he works at 11 by 17, 300 DPI. Okay, this is like your traditional comic book page. Now, why this matters is because with your line art, what it's supposed to be, at least in that workflow, and that's exactly where I'm copying most of my stuff, is he uses as a deadline, which would be like your micron, is a 3-point or a 3-pixel brush, okay? So if you look on here, this is what I have right now, okay? That's the line there, but it's a little too thick and you may not even be able to see. So if you look here, it's getting thinner. All it is down here, dude, as long as you just remember what I said, open up an 11 by 17 file, make it 300 DPI, and then you can click one of the default brushes in Manga Studio, probably a marker. You basically want it so that there's no finesse to the line, it's just dull, okay? And you make it 3 pixels, and then you're set. For me, what I've added is, like, if you watch, check this out. If I go real slow, right, like you get like a normal line, but if you go quick, it's hard to see, but there's a little bit of a taper, kind of like if you were to use a real micron. And that's what I wanted. I wanted just a little bit of realism in the lines. It honestly doesn't even matter. It's more for me while I'm drawing right now, as it feels a little bit more organic than it does just digital. So why I said it matters when you go to 600 DPI, which is what I use, you kind of have to double the sizes of everything. So your line art that you normally use, that was 3 pixels, it's 6. That's what this one is. And that's why it looks so big, because it's just 300 DPI. Probably throwing a lot of lingo at you, but that's sort of where I'm at. The stuff that I'm working on with here, this is a much different sized document. This one is, let me see here. Image resolution. Okay, so it's still 600 DPI, but it's not 11 inches by 17 inches. It's 2.2 by 3. Like, what is that? Let's go to like pixels so we can look at something. It's like 1320 by 23. It's small, right? So when I do these, I'm using like this, almost like that 3 or 4 point brush, and I'm sure that will all went over your head. If you need more clarification, just let me know. I'll try to like get you something here to look at. Okay, I'm going to be right back. I got a present to clean up. Okay, I wasn't able to find any of his Ralph Lauren anywhere, so one of two things are going to happen here. One, he's still hatching a good one, so he's just letting it percolate in his guts a little bit, or wherever the hell hairballs come from. And the second part is he did let one go, and that's a little treasure for me to find. That's disgusting. So if we hear him yakking again in the other room, I'm going to have to go watch him, just in case he does. Just so I make sure that we got it all. Okay, so let's get into some good stuff here. So I'm going to open up Google and type in a Turian, because I need a better image of their face. They're almost cat-like, eh? It's pretty cool. Thanks a bunch, man. That has been very informative. Personally use B4 paper. Okay. Okay, this would be the last, not the last, but something that might help you big time if you have access to a scanner and you're kind of coming from like a traditional workflow. I have a video talking about how I did this. You can check that one out too. But essentially what it is if you have like the proper comic board and like that you would draw on traditionally and your tools, just draw all your tools down on that paper, right, that you would, and write down what they are next to them. Scan it in at like 300 DPI, or I would say scan it at 600 DPI as well, or maybe 450. You don't gotta go crazy with 600. It's just that Manga Studio is so lightweight that a lot of us work at like higher resolutions, and you really need to. And so you scan it in, and then you just make like a new layer on top of stuff, and you just start messing with brush settings and stuff until you get something close to what your traditional tools are, and then it matches up almost perfectly. That's what I did too for a lot of this stuff, because I wanted to be able to draw what I'm doing here. But then if I go to a convention, or if I feel like drawing, on a table to do anything really, I use the same tools, so it works out the same as well there. So again, I have a video. Let me plug it in here. You can check that out if you want. One sec, let me find it. Okay, so it's called, I'm going to post it in a link in there too, but it's called Your Analog Ink Tools in Manga Studio 5. There you go. No, don't hype me up here. Nothing special. Sometimes you get little moments where you're like, what, that might be a cool idea, or you just try it and it works, and you're like, oh wow, that worked. So you start sharing it with people, right? So, but thank you, I appreciate that. All right, so let's keep this. We got to go quick with this stuff. I find even in this stage, if you start slowing down for little details, it's defeating the purpose, right? So I try to always keep. You can see like my lines are super scribbly. I'm doing my best to keep the train, like just keep it going so that I can't slow down. I'm purposely trying to prevent myself from going quick, because the quicker or from going slow. If I go slow, then I'm going to start trying to figure out like, okay, well that anatomically doesn't look 100% correct, and that's not what the point of this is. The point of this is to just keep it going quick, because we're going to get into tight line art, next week or whatever with this stuff. Worrying about all that now is not the point. You just want like landmarks down. And this is actually, I will say, now that I've been doing this for a while, like working like this, it's like a question, not necessarily you guys in the chat ask, but I do get it a lot, which is like, how do you get better at this or that or whatever, right? And I always bring up like confidence in your work, and daily practice will always get you better at what you want to get at, right? And I've noticed that switching to this kind of workflow, that the lines, even though I'm going quick, like they're getting more confident, and like what I want them to eventually look like towards the end, they get closer to that. And I have to believe that's just because I've been going, like I just said with you guys, just go fast, fast, fast. And again, this is for production stuff, right? Like if you're doing study work, go slow, take your time, learn what the hell, like why you're putting certain lines down. And I don't know what the hell is in here, so I'm gonna put some question marks, and we'll find that out later. All right, let's get this hand going. This will be kind of cool. don't even think you see knuckles with these guys, but I'm going to put them in anyway. So what is this? Hey Zelda. How are you? Coming to lay down? I'd like to just add super quick to like that point I was just making a couple minutes ago about working quick. If you feel like you don't take anything anybody says, myself included, as like, oh, I want to draw like that person, so whatever they say I have to do, kind of thing. Because I have gotten comments before, people saying like, I'm glad you upload like longer videos and stuff because it actually shows how long art takes instead of like these compressed videos that a lot of people share. Because it can beat up people's self-esteem a little bit, makes you kind of feel like, oh, I'm not that fast, so like there's something wrong with you, or you're not learning quick enough, so you try to speed up, and by speeding up you're actually doing more harm than good, you know. Like, again, remember when I started this, I said like this sort of pose I draw all the time, so I'm very comfortable with it, but you guys might not be, right? So take your time, do what feels right with what you're doing, because if you start going quick because me or somebody else works quick, or they tell you like that's what we do, it can hurt you. Okay. All right. So this is pretty much done. If I turn off the rough layers, right, like you can see right from here. Let me just select these. Right, like we just put tight lines on here, ink it, and bang, we're done. So it goes pretty quick, this stuff. So let me just save it. That one's done. Don't need this guy. All right, so Mob Psycho, this one's called. So let's delete all this old stuff. I got my signature up here already, I guess. Oh, we got to use the new ones. Let's get rid of that. 2017. Okay. I'll switch that one. So, silhouette again. Silhouette. Hey, bud. Let's grab our silhouette brush. Hi. You feeling okay? Yeah. Need more mocap. All right. So let's see. I've never even seen this guy before. Does he sound familiar to you guys at all? Does anybody watch an anime called, or manga? You guys let me know. Let me pull it up here. What is it called? What did I say it was? Mob Psycho 100? Does that even sound right? I took a picture. He's got like a really funny face. Mob Psycho 100. Except, it's like a big boxer, dude. Let me see if 100 is his name. No. Almost looks like One Punch Man. Can't seem to get the... Oh, you do watch it? It's good? Why can't I... Sorry, I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff on the other screen here, guys. You guys can't see. I heard of that anime. It's by the same guy who made One Punch. Okay, that makes sense. Because I'm just looking at the art and it looks very similar with the eyes. The main character is the One Punch Man of physics. Interesting. Okay. Well, it's this if at least what I'm looking at, I don't know if it's the right guy. It's this looks like he's a boxer. He's got like a yellow shirt, spiky gray hair, and at least everything I'm seeing, he's got like just like these little circles for eyes, and he always looks angry. So that's what we're gonna try to do. And I'm going to obviously blow this up a little bit. Let's get this on here for a rule of thirds. Sometimes this helps with some ideas. So I'm going to put his face over here, and we'll put like a giant, I don't know, fist up here. Alright, so there's a big old hand. I'm actually going to make a new layer under that so we can get the body. Alright, so put the face over here still. And do something like that. What the hell's going on with this arm over here? Maybe we can bring it up. That one's pretty much good to go too. See, like they go, like not every time you work like this. I feel like I'm always overselling this stuff. That's like, look, your work's done. Cool. Now you get to go do whatever you want to do. Not like that, but sometimes, like even with these things, they're quick, and it gets me faster. Not all the time, as opposed to doing something like this that I think a lot of people, myself included, work like. Maybe with a pencil you do a little different, but I'll do like the same thing I just did, right? So I would have like, I don't know. So we're going to do something with his body here. Have a fist. Fist. You know? And I think a lot of people work like this too. And I think this comes from when we would draw with pencil and pen. Personally. Just because that's how you kind of have to work unless you're using like a big fat Sharpie tool or something like that. So when you work with this sort of idea, your brain, it's asking different things of your brain. So you look at something like this and you can hopefully start figuring out, oh, like a perspective or a dynamic or something that might be drawn in a different way than how you would if you were just drawing like that, if that makes sense. Sometimes you can get some more interesting kind of stuff too. So, okay, let's grab, I'm going to just use a 1-point perspective, and I'm going to put it right here. I think this is where his eye is going to be, so that we kind of get the whole focus on his eye. And let's put it to color. And we're just going to throw like, here, let's zoom out so we don't kill our hand. Grids galore. Sounds like a bad guy's name, eh? Grids galore. Cool. Okay, so we zoom in. Got a whole bunch of stuff now. Awesome. Alright, so let's put this, what is this layer? We can kill that. Hey, how's it going, Chris? You only saw the first 2 episodes and it was really cheesy, and you could, okay. Alright, hey, how's it going, V? I haven't seen the One Punch Man anime. There's clips I've seen that people have shared like on Facebook, but I haven't seen the show. I have the anime. Or what the hell am I talking about? The manga. Sorry, the first episode of that, and it's good. It feels a little like maybe not cheesy is the word, but definitely campy. That's for sure. And I'm sure it gets better now that there's like a lot of money being made in it. It's popular now, right? so let's save that, and then we're going to save another version. Some people are asking, why do I save like a whole bunch of versions during the last stream? And it's just a habit from the DC Comics guide. Freddy always works like that. Something must have gotten him super salty to have lost a lot of stuff for you to save like every increment. Usually I don't find that I have to edit things that much, but it's just something like a habit that I'm into now. Shock of... Oh, what? By just zooming out so it's quicker, or... I mean, the thing is, too, right? Like, we have this perspective grid. I can still move this around and all that. Like, nothing changes. You know, if I wanted to feel like, you know, maybe the focus needs to be on a fist instead of an eye. Just keeps it a little, you know, a little fun. A little fun. Alright, so I'm going to... Whoops. I got everything snapped to that perspective grid. Okay, so let's kind of gesture in where his face is going to be. Now again, I said I wanted this to be the eye. Just so I can see the grid. What are you doing, Zelda? Here we go. Okay, so we get an eye in here. Alright, so I kind of know where this is going, so we can get the rest of his body here. So here's like a shoulder, and you can't really see his pecs, but put them in. This isn't going to end well. Give me a second here. Come on, Zelda. You can't hang out by the Megazord. I know. Come on. Alright. I got you. Da-da-da. 5% of my time out. Silver, how's it going? Do you have any videos that show how easily you bang out the perspective lines? I have an older one I can show you right now. It's very simple. I always feel like it's bad to say that. One sec, I'll show you how. Zooming out, I've always felt, not that I do much, zoomed in and very painstakingly made line after line. Okay, so when that art teacher that I always talk to you guys about showed me perspective, the one thing that I will say, and I didn't really do much perspective back in the day, but the one thing that he showed me that changed really my idea of perspective was throwing down a grid. I used to always have, like, let's say I was doing a comic panel of a city street, the most yucky thing to draw ever. And what I would do is I would have some idea of what it's going to look like. Maybe I had a thumbnail, right? Where I'm like, okay, I want some buildings like this, and I don't know. We're like at a skyscraper level stuff. I don't know, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. But when I got here, it's like, okay, what do I do? And there's so many different things. You can tie tape to your table. You can grab like kneadable eraser pieces and stick that to your table and like hold string. I saw somebody was posting a video that's been going on YouTube or on Facebook where it's like this guy has like little pins or something and like a string with like a piece of metal or something where you can just kind of move it around. That's cool too. However, it sucks when you're trying to draw. I don't like drawing with rulers. It doesn't feel organic and stuff, right? So what he showed me and what changed like everything I did was he would show me like, let's assume just we're gonna say this is a vanishing point here, right? And he's like, okay, you just kind of throw in a grid. And I'm going real super lame right now. And I'm going to show you how to do it properly in Manga Studio here. And we'll say there's another vanishing point over here. So now we got 2-point perspective, right? And we're going to make it 3-point perspective, meaning there's another point. But I'm going to keep it simple and just go like up and down so to keep it 2, right? The next step you do is you grab like a kneadable eraser. And you just lightly erase it. So you can still see it. And this is if you're working traditional, okay? But this method still works digital because anything you can do traditional, you can mirror it digitally, right? So now that I have that, you can just grab your ruler if you wanted straight lines, or let me zoom in so you guys can see a little bit better. Or you can just sort of like pick the lines that are here, right? And all right, let's draw some buildings. Yeah. All right, and you could fill any scene you want this way because you've already put the grid in there. And from here on out, it's just putting in the labor of making a good looking background or whatever, right? That'd be it. And this works every single time. So what I would recommend doing, and I do have a video on this, so you can just, I think it's, just search my channel for perspective. It's an older one, and I think there's a couple hiccups I have in there, which are good because it can show you guys like, okay, there are problems that you can sort of get out of it. So what I would do is, let's say we have a comic page, and I'm just going to put 2 panels here. One, and scribble this stuff, right? These are thumbnails. That's the whole point, right? So let's just say it's, I don't know, like Superman, and he's flying. Cool. And he's flying above the city. So have like an idea of what perspective looks like, right? So I'm going to say it's something like this. There's some buildings over here or whatever, right? So it's probably like the vanishing point's way up here. Maybe even just gesture in some ideas of where vanishing points are. And the other one we'll do like the actual street one here, right? So we're street level, and maybe it's people. And now I'm just going to do like a boring one here. It's just people kind of walking on the street. I don't know why they're walking on the street instead of the sidewalk, but they're walking, okay? Trust me, it's there. So what I would do is, okay, so for the first one, just go down to your perspective ruler tool, right? And click perspective ruler. Right. If you're still figuring out Clip Studio Paint, I mean, just know that you're going to put some time into it. That's fine. You're going to get where you need to. It just takes time, like Photoshop. Like, I can't imagine, how hard was it to learn Photoshop, guy? If you understand Photoshop, the transition to Manga Studio or Clip Studio, whatever you want to call it, it's easier, but there's still little intricacies, like especially all these tools that you're not used to, like the perspective ruler and stuff. You want like being able to like fine tune things, and you don't know how to get to them. That's the thing that over time you'll get better at. So as long as you're trying to look for those things, you'll be okay. So let's say, okay, we're going to start with this first one, right? We have like this gestured whatever. So I know it's going to be like 1 point perspective. That's what I intended it to be. You know, like everything's looking up at Superman, let's say, or the guy flying. So I'm just going to click where I think the vanishing point would be, right? And you can see what's happening. It's like as I move it around, you can do whatever you want because it doesn't know anything. It doesn't matter. It's just it's like, imagine this is your ruler and you're moving it around, right? You're like, cool, I want there. So what we're going to do is make an intersecting point, right? So I'm just going to click again anywhere and move it down. And what will happen is you'll see, you're going to get, let me just turn this crap off. Okay. So you're going to see this is what just happened from that, okay? And I just want to tell you really quickly what this is that it's showing you, okay? So this little dot here, that's your perspective point, okay? If you needed to, you can click up here. There's like an object selector tool. You can click this thing, and you'll see it changes the way it is, okay? And I'll show you, I don't want to do this be a whole tutorial on it, but I just want to show you some stuff. So just by clicking on that, if I wanted to, you're able to click like this round thing here in this other line, and you can move this around to sort of like go, is that, if you wanted to be precise, right? Like, imagine you just had your ruler and you're kind of doing this with it, right? And you're like, okay, do these things line up? Whatever. This thing over here, this is what you would call, some people call, I'm just going to call it the plumb line and your horizon line. So this blue one is your horizon. This is how you would start any drawing, and this is your horizon. It's usually flat. If you tilt it, it starts looking cool. But if you look outside or wherever, look down, look anywhere you live right now. If you have eyeballs at work, just look away from your computer. Wherever you see this, like everything's kind of converging into a point, right? It'll straighten out at some point. That's your horizon line. It's always going to be your eyeballs. Your eyeballs are always going to be straight because they're straight, looking at any horizon. When you tilt your head, the horizon line changes, okay? This plumb line, or your vertical line, this like pinkish purple one, think of it like this. You have a string, okay? And what you do is you hang like a weight on the bottom of it, like a 1 or 2 pound weight, and you're holding on a string like this. So if you're to like hold it, right, eventually it's being pulled down by gravity, right? That's your plumb line. This is the straight line, okay? So if you have a straight horizon with my eyeballs, this is getting into the technical stuff. Horizon line and your plumb line will always be 90 degrees from each other, okay? And you can see it right here on the screen. That's 90 degrees. As I rotate my horizon, this is going to move too, okay? However, it's still going to follow gravity, right? So no matter what, you're moving it. So check this out. If I click this thing, right, you can rotate it somewhere. You're not going to let me, are you? Let me try here. Okay, so there's these little pluses on the horizon line. So check this out. As I rotate the horizon line, look what's happening. The plumb line is still 90 degrees because it's following gravity, right? Like it's still no matter what. But if you look at the vanishing point, what's happening is it's still staying on the same point that we put down on the horizon line, and it's just adjusting to the new reality we're kind of making here, right? So I know I'm going all over the place. I just wanted to quickly explain what the what the hell's going on here. So this is a simple one. I'm just going to do 1 point perspective here. So I have this grid. It always puts it at the bottom of everything. I don't know why. So I'm just going to drag it above everything, right? And what I'll do is I'm just going to grab a disgusting brush. I don't care. I'm going to change the color mode to red just so we can see it. And I zoom out so that I don't have to like draw on my entire screen and blow my arm out. Just make small little gestures, right? So if we turn off this layer here, I'm just going to draw in here. Okay, so we're going to just make a bunch of points. And it's locking already to the ruler. This is great. Now check this out. You see this green line? Again, the plumb line. Everything you do is always going to follow that line. Oh wait, it's doing this thing. This is the beautiful part here of Manga Studio. Sometimes what'll happen is you won't be able to actually follow what you're doing. Just give me 1 second here. Sometimes I don't know how to do this part. I might have to redo this, so I apologize. Just give me 1 second to see if I can fix it. There we go. I think. Yeah. Okay. I don't know why the hell it does this, but anyway. So we're putting our horizon lines down. Okay, see, it's not letting me do. Okay, anyway. So now that I have this, I'm just going to lower the opacity, and you can kind of see all the perspective that's in there. I mean, it's disgusting. I realize that, right? But if you're wondering about this grid too, really quickly, if you click on the vanishing point or anything like that in your perspective ruler, I don't know if this is showing up. Just let me know if it's not. At the bottom, there's a grid level. You can click planes, and that helps too. So anyway, you'd have all this, and all you do is you just redraw over it, like how I just showed you. Let's get rid of this one, and we'll do the second one here. Okay, so we've got this. We're going to grab our perspective ruler again. Now, I know this one's going to be much more tame, okay? So I can see I was gesturing some buildings back here, right? So I'm just going to follow a point that they were kind of going across there, and I see the road kind of coming down here. Now, if you check it out, look at this. We've got 1 point perspective, and this is the perspective point on the left here, right? So I want to do the right. Maybe it's something like this. And what I've just done, let me turn off the artwork. This is what it looks like, okay? This is the grid we just made. And that's 2 point perspective, and this plumb line is always going to follow straight. You can rotate it if you like, or if you want, you can do this. I do this all the time to prevent what just happened, because what just happened is that for whatever reason it locks a certain plane off and you can't, draw it. And I don't know what the hell that's about, so I'll add a third point, which would be the up and down lines, but you just, do the same thing. So I'm going up here, and I'm going up here, and what it'll do is if you look, it's adding a point way the F off the screen, okay? So if we lower the opacity, let's assume we're going to draw this like real, like some real artwork here. So I kind of have what I had there. So I can just start, everything's going to lock to this perspective here. Right? So I'd have all these buildings over here, and you could just quickly hammer in your perspective if you wanted to. It's all good. And we'd probably have our street level here. Now, if you go up to the top, I don't even know if this is showing up on your screen. If you go up to the top, you're going to see like these things that say snap to ruler. They look like they're black with blue lines on them. Just unclick whatever one's on. That way you can kind of come in here and organically get back to drawing, right? So if I wanted like a dude, I want a couple dudes, walking. This guy's like, hurry up, we're going to be late for work. What an adventure. Right. Now we can put some more buildings. like a sign or something. I don't know. But do you see what I'm saying, guys? You can have all this here, and then you can adjust again, right? Like you can turn off your stupid layer here, and then like start putting tight line work and stuff over top of it. Start like that. Hey, Will, how's it going, man? How's it going? Okay, let's see if I can remember how to pronounce your name again. Seanery. That's what it is, right? I always remember Sean Connery. I don't I don't know why. Um, Silver, you did let the program know to draw a straight line across the towards the point. Sorry. How did you let the program know to draw straight across instead of toward the point? I don't know. So like here's the thing. I'll just show you one more thing before we get back to drawing here. I know the perspective ruler is a bitch for a lot of people. So like if I just did a 1 point perspective, I'm just throwing 2 lines down real quick. No matter what, when you draw, you're always going to have access to like these up and down lines, right? Your plumb lines or your vertical lines. This line, your horizontal line, right? And you'll always have your perspective line every single time. It's only when, and I don't know why, when you guys just saw that little boo boo, is when you click this friggin' line up here and you adjust it, right? Let's see if it fixed it. Okay, it did. So I must have done something where it turned this line green instead of the purple that it's at now. Is any of this Seanery? That's see, Seanery, not Seanery. That's anyway. I hope this helped you. Let me know again, guys, if nothing is clicking. I would request that you check out the perspective video that we did, years ago or whatever. But if that's not like clicking in or something, that's cool too. Just jam it in the chat. I'll do my best to help you out if I can. I know it can be a complicated topic for sure. It's and the thing is, anybody that's just call you Sean. Okay, I'll call you Sean from now. Or is it? Yeah, it's Sean, not Sean. I'll learn to read one day. And if anybody came from Manga Studio 4, we had it golden, man. Like Manga Studio 4 was, for the perspective ruler, was great. And 5, I haven't felt the reason, like I haven't seen anything so far in all my time using it that would say like it's better than how 4 was. But it is what it is. 4 had this amazing tool that you could add like infinite vanishing points or lines from a vanishing point, so it made perspective work so much easier. Alright, so we're going to get some gestured muscles in here. Alright. And once again, if you guys remember where we were even coming in from this, this is why we put the perspective grid in here, because the silhouette that we're drawing, and even if you're not using silhouettes and you're just drawing, like traditionally, like sort of like a scribbly method or something like that, in my opinion, it's important to know where your perspective is, because it changes how your anatomy lines up and stuff. Right, like this hand, for example, I'm drawing like this side going backwards because the perspective's back here, right? Where I might normally just want to like do whatever the hell I wanted to do, you know? Cool. Okay, so we got this guy done. We'll save this up, and then we're just going to do the quick pass of a rough, which is essentially this. But the face needs work. There's a lot of details that are missing there. So let's go to here. Will doesn't believe in the perspective tool. I'll show you this too, guys. If you don't like, okay. So you saw how we quickly had like the gestured background in here. Maybe this will help some of you guys out too. Okay, so we have like this background, right? And let's say you just started with that, and you wanted to just, I don't know, you're going to quickly gesture in some backgrounds, right? Like, ooh, cool, some buildings and stuff, awesome stuff, like shapes. Who cares, right? It's a city. But you want a little bit more control instead of locking the perspective ruler down and stuff. So just grab like a line that doesn't have pressure sensitivity for the most part. I'll just make a new layer, right? And all you need to do is just hold shift, right? So click and shift. So Here, we'll do like this building up here. And what you're doing is you're trying to follow the perspective grid you have. So start here, right? And I let go, but if you hold shift, you see how it's making this line? This is from like Photoshop. It does this too, right? So let's say, I don't know, we'll pick a line here, and then I want to come down here like this. And what this does is it gives you a little extra control to do some stuff like this. Here, I'll show you. So let's say you want like some funky design pattern here. You can just like, what the hell is all that, right? But just hold shift and try your best to follow the lines that are there. It's not going to be perfect. It's just a shortcut from one point or like one click to the next click. And this is why I was doing like all those like lame little squiggly lines, right? Because you can just go in here and do all this kind of stuff. But this is boring sitting drawing, you know. I'd recommend putting some music on or something if you're gonna do this, or a podcast or something. All right, and you can still like freehand whenever you want. All right, so if I turn all this off, so you can kind of see what the hell we just did. So this is like disgusting for sure, but you see what I'm saying? You can hold shift to do some certain things as well. Yeah, we're finally back to doing non-NDA work. So there's some new people in the chat. So what we're doing again is the roughs. Let me just delete all this stuff so you guys can get back on track. We're doing some roughs and silhouettes for some Patreon rewards today. And we're almost done. We have this and then RuPaul next. That's going to be really exciting to draw. It's different. It's different, and I like that. And then after this, we're going to be coloring some Jesop King pages. So we actually get back to that. This is a Cintiq 21UX. Satanism? What is this magic tool that draws black and white on color? Or are you just swapping? Yeah, I'm just swapping. So right here, you guys know, obviously, you can click back and forth. I believe the shortcut, I don't know if it is this natively, but X in Photoshop switches between foreground and background color. So that's all you do, but I don't like to hit the keyboard a lot, so I just have like a shortcut here on the Cintiq. Or if you're using the Intuos or anything that has like something like that, you can just have it to be a button press, right? So I just press that so I can draw back and forth, because what happens is like inevitably when we're doing the silhouette method, you see all like the back muscles back here. In my mind, I know what I would like to add to these things, but like if I draw white, you can't see it. So I just swap to black real quick, and it just keeps this rough, loose, and you know, just keep it going. Shift, redo, undo space. That's right. Those look like your buildings, do they? Love it. Okay, so what do we got here? This is actually in the wrong layer, so let's put this in here. Cool. So we're going to make two new layers, one for the rough layer here. We're going to fill this one with white. Lower the opacity on that. Lower the opacity on that. And, okay, cool. So again, remember, we want this to be quick. We don't want to spend all day here. This isn't the line art stage. We just need roughs, right? So in this right here, I'm worrying about like ideas and gestures of costume, facial structure, all sorts of just stuff, you know? Again, a lot of that will get fixed in the line art phase. And he's got these really weird anime eyes, so those are going to be really cool to draw. And I actually I think the line art in this one, if I remember, they wanted just pencils. They don't want the ink look. How's his hair looking? He's got like a little headband. Will's spitting all that fire today, you guys. Got a comedian in the room. I think we're gonna do like swipe this mouth where it like goes over the face. Kind of funny. Thanks, Justin. got a band. Yeah, he does. Okay. It's a weird colored bandana. Alright, so we can get these going. So what does he have here? He's got... Oh, shit. So I just wasted all that time. Okay. I was just so focused at drawing what it is here. So he's just got boxing gloves on? So I don't even draw that stuff? Sweet. Yeah, I was gonna say, Will, don't you got like work to do instead of coming in and shooting fire all day, man? Alright, what do we got here? Alright, so we got this lame stuff here. And what do we got for his costume? So it's like a tank top. Alright, so I think that's good. We're done. And you know what I might do right now, actually? I'm gonna just try it out. Maybe we can do like speed lines or something now. Just see what the hell it looks like. I don't know if it's this one that works. Just to have it in here, we can adjust it later. Cool. Okay. So we can save that. That one is done. Alright, close that. Alright. So this is an older one we did too of Lemmy. So we can delete all that stuff. Oops. That's what we need. Okay. So this one is RuPaul. This is going to be fun. Like I said at the beginning of this stream too, most likely this is just going to be like, I have no idea how to go about this, so I'm just going to draw like, what's it called? A pretty girl, I guess. Will's the big time. Okay, so let's do silhouette here. Alright, let's get our reference here. Control 0. Oops. try that out. Alright, so it's funny, these RuPaul pictures I have, like they're clearly Photoshopped, so it's like that's a woman. What I'm looking at is a woman, 100%. Then you look at like some of the ones that are just like legit pictures, you're like, no, it's not. You're like this big flower dress. Oh, no problem, man. What'd you do? I know you were saying, was it something to do with lettering? Okay. Make a new layer, and we're gonna get some of that hair. Let's go purple. Let's do it. Let's get some color in this. Let's go black and white here. Let's do some funky colors. Yeah, let's go blue. All right. What does this hair look like? She's got it. It's nice hair. She's got like it's kind of coming up, and then it's got like some flowers in it and stuff. RuPaul's. Yeah, man. Whenever I guess our time zones sync up, so let me know what works for you, and then we can figure something out. Okay, so let's make a new layer on top of all that, and we're gonna do our perspective ruler. Oops. Uh, I have a discussion. Okay. You ever find that social media reactions influence the content style of your work? does getting more likes, comments shape your content at all? Artistically, it probably shouldn't. Economically, it maybe should. What do you think? I think that's a good question. I think it's gonna be different for everybody. I would say, and I've shared with you guys too. Ever since I stumbled upon the Gary Vaynerchuk stuff. It changed a lot of how I went about thinking about what content I produce for sure. I think there always was a part. I don't know if you guys will agree with this or if it's different for everybody, right? On every level here, but mostly just coming from like there's discussions I think artists have, or some, not all, have of like how can people like this? It's crap. How can so many people enjoy this thing? Like it's not good. It's trash. Like let's say the Kardashians, for example, right? There's a whole group of people that love it, and that's fine. Then there's a whole other group of people that are just like, this doesn't make sense, and that's the problem with the world and all that stuff, right? But Gary Vee, anyway, he had this one, or not one, he talks about it all the time, just going over, talking about the market, right? So the best we can do, and this is just one man's opinion, and I sort of subscribe to it, which is the market's going to tell you what's good and what's not, right? So let's say the greater whole of the collective group of people, they like the Kardashians, let's say, right? Does that mean they're wrong and that what they like is garbage? You know, right? It's always going to be different perspective and tastes that people have, right? So the best you can do as a creator is make stuff. Make what you think is great. But you're never, it's like catching lightning in a bottle. It's hard to reproduce things that are successful, right? You might be able to do it for a time, but you don't really know what's going to take off. You hope everything you do will take off, right? Because that'd be great. But very rarely does, right? So knowing that, kind of going back to your question to answer it a little bit, I know it's a zigzaggy way there, but to me, I wouldn't necessarily say what I do. Like I wouldn't just draw a certain way because I noticed people are like hating on things. But I would lie if I said that it didn't creep up in some way and change certain things. I think even Will and we can talk about it a little bit. We've had conversations back and forth about changing our styles up a bit to be more open without the shading and the rendering because generally comic book colorists in the big two and other places, color is huge nowadays, right? And it always has been. But color's gotten so much better in comic books, especially in my opinion, that it's like at the end of the day, a comic page has to look it has to be readable and enjoyable, right? But if the colorist and the artist are clashing, it's sort of like it ruins the experience all in all. There's a whole bunch of comics I can think of off the top of my head where the coloring just destroyed it, or it's just too much shadow in the colors they put on there. They look better with like an open art style, right? So that would be an example of like hearing what people say and sort of like, and I will 100% say too that anytime I've ever posted anything that was more cartoony, it gets more likes, more comments, more shares than something I do, maybe not of my own stuff, but like heavily rendered things. So an example would be, what was it? I think there was it was a Galactus or something, and it could be the context too. But there's a Galactus I drew way back in the day that was, and that might have something to do with like how many people are actually looking at it as opposed to now, you know. But there's a group of people, or sorry, what am I saying? A Galactus I drew that had a lot of shading and rendering and highlights and stuff, and it was fun to do. I was lost in it, and it was great. And people were saying, you know, I got like some feedback, and that's always encouraging when you get that. But then I did like a cartoony sort of style where it was much more open and like the ink wash kind of stuff, and it just got like a whole bunch more. It got a lot more feedback from people. So I've just noticed this over time and time. The small conventions and local ones I've gone to, all my cartoony stuff sells way more than anything else that I do, and I'm not sure exactly what that is, right? So then you kind of come up to the decision you're asking, and I'm interested in what you guys are all saying or think too. But I would say that there will be a point where you will notice that you do get different feedback from art that you create, and then it's your call to sort of go, am I going to go with the market's telling me to do, which is people are buying your stuff because of a style, or do you still want to just do your thing, right? And maybe something you'll do will catch on and make you money as well. It's a little give and take, I find, right? Like some of it, like most of it just comes down to like, so what are you drawing for? Are you drawing to make a living and money, or are you drawing because it's something that just speaks to you. And I don't think it's A or B, but I do think it's like one's gonna weigh over the other, and it'll change throughout your life, I believe, right? Like if you have a job right now and you're doing stuff and you don't need money, like money's great. If you had more money, it's even better. But you got, like, for me, here's an example, right? I've got an awesome job at a game company. I get to draw concept art. I get to make video games and stuff. It's great. I'm not like beholden to them for money. And I make money. I can support myself, right? Put a little bit of money away, so I'm okay. I'm good. I'm more than good. I'm very fortunate with what I have. And on the other side, what I was arguing, or not arguing, but debating myself for the longest time, and I shared this with you guys a couple streams ago, of just like, yeah, but you always got to keep doing comic book stuff to replace what you have here. But here I'm happy, and here I'm not sure, and I'm still fighting that thing, right? So it's sort of like, all right, well, if if I stay with the, let's say, the game company, and it's paying me money, right? This lends me more open to what's quick, fast, and fun for me to do on my own time for art, right? So it starts to sway. And then obviously I can take into consideration what you guys say. Like if you prefer like an open style, let's say, or heavy rendering, I can go, well, there's interest there. And the stuff that I'm spending more time doing, I can kind of put in there. As opposed to like, you have no job, you need money, and you sort of have to bend your will more, I would say, to like what's going to get you money. So if it was like a house style at some place, or if it was graphic design at another place that you might not normally like to do, but you want that money and you want that job, then you tilt in the other direction where it's like now they're really influencing what you do because that's the job you want. Right? And that's the thing. That's like right now. 10 years from now, it could go the other way, and it probably will, and it'll go back and forth. I think and it's an interesting question you bring up, but I think it's definitely something to be conscious of if you want to do this long term. And I don't think enough people think about this stuff in terms of not just legacy, but the long haul. Like you're in this for like 60 years, 100 years. It's a slow build up. You're going to get successes along the way, and I wish all of you the best successes, right? You're going to have those things. You're going to have your downsides. You're going to have your pluses. And it's always going to go back and forth. It's life, right? So if you're monitoring what the market wants, which is what people are telling you what they like that you do, I think it'd be not foolish, but it'd be something in your best interest to sort of go, there's something else there that could keep me afloat, or I could put more time into to make that like 100% my job. So it's just something that goes back and forth, and I think it's always something to consider. Always be aware of it. Yeah, and it's interesting to what comes out of that stuff. Anyway, all right. So let's let me catch up with what you guys are all saying. So awesome question, V. He always asks the good stuff. He always asks the good stuff. Justin, your problem was no audio on your stream. That's what it was. It was super low, and you had to hear your speakers 100% to hear me. Didn't realize I was on stream. That sucks. I'm glad that you got it ironed out, though. Hey, Gil. By the way, Gil, comic is amazing. That needs to be online. I know you sent me a Dropbox link. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. That was a real treat to read. Thank you so much for sending me that. Inkbot. Yeah, I'll probably be, like I said, I'm going to be leaving in, what is it, 11 right now? 12, 1, 2, in about 2.5 hours. I have to go sell some books to somebody, and then I'm coming back and jumping back into it. Hey, Quincy, how's it going, man? Haven't seen you in a bit. Um, Will saying the moment he stopped rendering, he got work from the big boys. It was one of the things Marvel really liked about his samples. It was how open it was. Cool. V, for me, it's something like this. I want to draw X and I want to draw Y. If the world seems like X but not Y, it doesn't change the fact that I still want to draw Y. But Y might push X away. Yep, you're right. Either way, I'm drawing something. So that, I would 100% say that was me for a very long time. Always trying to draw, or I would condition myself to draw and force myself to draw in a Marvel DC way, I'll call it, because that was, for a very long time, that's the only way out of comics is through those things. Nowadays, I don't even care. It's not. Remember, I shared with you guys, and I know there's a lot of new people in the chat and stuff like that. But over the last 2 months, I've been talking about it, where it's like I'm done. I don't even care to send samples to those companies anymore. Not that I have any hate or ill will. It's just it doesn't make me happy thinking about drawing that stuff over and over again. Like I said before, things change, right? Let's say I lose my job at where I'm at. Well, then now I need to find work, and I don't want to work at like a retail place. I would if I have to, but if that means I have to, in my off time, make a portfolio to send to them to get a job there, then I would, right? Because you're gauging yourself in the market, right? That's the only way it's going to go. But now there's no point for it. Just do what makes. And I've said this to you guys over and over again. Always do what makes you happy. That doesn't mean cut corners where you shouldn't. Meaning like if cutting out study or don't do shadow work because I don't want to learn that stuff and it's boring to me. There's certain fundamentals that I do think will always translate to anything you do to be a better artist. Period. But whatever's gonna make you happy, stick with that 100%. If again, the idea of going to the big guys or whoever, right? Whatever company you're thinking of, maybe it's a concept art gig or whatever, but you're conforming to a style that doesn't make you happy, but it brings in the check. There's two kinds of people. Some people, that's the life they want and they enjoy it, or maybe they don't, but they put up with it. That's cool. Do your thing. But if you're like me on the other side, where it's, I would be doing that, but and the only happiness I suppose I would get out of it is, yeah, you're drawing something that's cool that a lot of people see, which is great. I don't want to diminish any of that stuff. In any convention I've ever gone to, whenever you get to meet somebody that enjoys your work, that's like that's a high. I'll tell you right now. It's very addictive, and it's what keeps a lot of us drawing still, right? That sharing and appreciation and a discussion. That's great stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're not, if think about what the grind is of whatever job you're going to do, right? And if you're not happy with like the boring parts, it's super difficult to do that for the long run and be happy in life overall, right? And that's all this is sort of, I guess, sort of talking about here. So if you think that the end is this, but you don't like drawing what they do, then don't do that. Just don't do that. It's just like an old guy talking right now, okay? So just do your guys' thing. That's all. I just wanted to highlight that there because of that one point that you brought up there. Um, what's an open style? So what we mean when we're talking about open style is like, here, I'll just give you an example. So, what would be a bus sketch that we just did here? Uh, here, here we'll do some topless guys, because who doesn't like topless guys? Like that's so weird. Okay, so this would be what I would consider an open style. Okay, there's very like little rendering to any, but when a colorist would get that, the colorist could knock this out of the park. Okay, that would be an open line style. Like the rendering part, or the I guess the other part would be is it? Let me just see this one. So imagine all the shading I put in here. You would just put that in black or render it out. That would be, I would say, not a 90s style, but a traditional comic book style where it's got render lines everywhere and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. Nobody, like, I'm glad there's different styles of art. Okay? But this stuff here generally is quicker to do. You can make more of it. You can spend more time making the quality of it a little bit better, like storytelling, I find. But anyway, again, that's just preference and stuff. V, we're getting into the good discussion stuff now, man. This is great. V, I think my main problem is common to all things. Like I'll often unfollow artists if they do one thing I like, but another I don't. Goes for music, you do. Okay, no, that makes sense. I think you're following them in that case of their personality, as opposed to like what they create. It's kind of like let's say you like a certain artist. I'll use myself as a great example here. So you might like the stuff I do, so you follow me on Facebook, and I'm sharing vegan stuff like on the daily, and it's gross. It's probably pissing a lot of people off, and then some people they'll unfollow me and they'll never look at my art again because I've offended them or I've done something that they don't like, so they won't follow me for that, which is totally fine, right? There's some people they'll look at that and they'll just disregard all that and they'll just watch the art and stuff and not even have to think about it. But some people, on the other hand, or it's you don't like the politics or whatever they do too, right? So that's there's I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's gonna be different for everybody, right? Well, Gil, as long as you're still working and like you just keep it up, it doesn't even matter. So, like I said, I enjoyed the comic. I thought it was really good. I can't wait for you to get it out there for people to see it. Hey, Jonathan, how's it going? But always waiting for the time that drawing Y is discovered is something people want. You're right. It's a tough balance, Jonathan, especially when it comes to building audiences for your work. Of course, and guys, anything that is worth anything is going to take work and time and investment. You guys all know that. Think about yourself as an artist. How long did it take you to get good? How long do you think it's going to take you to get better? It's time, right? And that's why I said earlier, and I hope you guys hear what I'm trying to say here. And it's not an attack or anything. It's just like investment. You be in this for the long run. The long. If you're looking for like I want to be this by a year, and if this doesn't happen by a year, then I'm done. maybe some circumstances are a reason for that. But for the most of us, like, I think it's the wrong attitude. I think it's more like, I'm going to do this for the next 50 years. And I mean, how are you going to know what that is? Life changes all the time. But I hope you know what I'm saying. The more you put into it, the longer you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. Right? You can put up for 10 years of like eating shit for a lifetime of caviar, right? Like, that's real. That's real. Yeah, and Will's saying a great thing too. Even working at Marvel, he's just drawing someone else's book. Higher paying indies, but deadlines matter. Yep, for sure. I'm glad to see you guys are all over this. This is a good topic, V. Good job. uh, Shanri, sharing is wonderful. I was near to get a job in Japan. Live in Sweden, by the way. They like the new style of mine, and I like to draw on clips to do. Right on. Hey, Pillowhead, how's it going, man? For me, putting my things out there on more venues like Behance, Talent House, etc., it's not just instant DeviantArt, is really encouraging. Different audience demographics. Preach, man. And like I've said, I think I'm around 800 or 900 followers on Instagram. That's like nothing, right? For sure, I get that. But the engagement I get on Instagram is way, like, I would say it's probably my number one back and forth, even over Facebook for stuff. And I was adamant on not using Instagram for a while for stupid reasons, for absolutely stupid reasons. And what you're saying is 100% true. And that's why I think a lot of us artists that want to do your own thing, but it's a slow burn. But guys, there's so many places online, especially on the internet is so amazing right now, and you guys know that. But I don't think enough of us are abusing it like we should. You don't know what people are on Tapastic, Webtoons, Instagram, Behance, ArtStation. Like, there's Imager for all places. Imager. Like, I was listening to a podcast with Dave Raposa and Dan Warren where they were talking about Steve Lichman. And Imager was like one of the highest things they never even thought about it. But Imager was one of the most shared places on the internet that got awareness for their comic. Like, that stuff. And I know it goes into that other topic, like, well, how do you make all the time to share on social and stuff like that? Unfortunately, we don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. If you want to be on the internet and if you want your art to make money, if you want to make money off of art, you have no choice but to share and find a platform that's gonna build an audience for you. And again, long term, we're talking 10, 20 years. It could be tomorrow or today for sure. But like 10, 20 years from now, you're going to be building up. Like, you guys are here because I've started a channel 6 years ago on YouTube, right? Like, that's awesome. But what's the next 6 years look like? What's the next thing after YouTube gonna look like, right? Like, these are all realities, and it's awesome because we're artists, and we get to make stuff and share it with people, and people want that stuff. That's a commodity that'll never go away, and that's why we're unique in what we do, and it's exciting as hell. I t- there you go, Rob. So good. The biggest problem is finding a way to break through the entry stage to an audience, like most. Yeah, and again, I know I'm saying the same thing over and over again. I really got to get back to John here. This is super engaging. Is that don't worry about the breakthrough. Don't worry about it. That's the last thing you need to worry about. Content will always beat all of that stuff. Eventually, like, and the thing is, you can just share. You can find all these sources online and just go, I made this thing, guys, here, and then go back to making stuff. Remember that 80-20 rule we talked about, 70-30, whatever? 70 to 80% of what you do is making, right? And thinking about like what you're going to do and get it going. But that 20% or 30% is actually that, more so the thinking part and sharing it, right? Like, just keep making stuff. I'll tell you, as a guy that's been doing this for a long time, that hasn't made projects at all, and I'm hoping Jesop King is that leaping stone that's going to get us there. Not to break through, but to break that bad habit. But it's more like, you guys know, I've shared and I post, like, even what we're doing right now. There's more of that than content, I would say, and it's a problem. It's a huge problem. There's so many artists I've just stumbled upon where I'm like, oh, how, man, look at this stuff. And like, now I'm following and all that stuff. And I'm going through like libraries of content. And it's, that matters, right? Breaking through, don't worry about that. That's other people's job. As weird as that sounds. Other people will tell you to check out stuff. And that's what you want. You're going to organically find stuff for sure. But when your buddy tells you to check something out, you're going to check it out. let them do the work for you. Just make the thing. That's all you got to do. Just keep it easy. Just keep. And the thing is, this is the last point I'll make on that is I don't care what level you're at. If you're struggling drawing heads at different angles, I don't care. Post and share the living hell out of it because there's so many people at different levels of the game that everybody's got a voice, right? Everybody's got a unique version of what they do. There's people waiting to hear what you have. Some people, they can't tell a story or talk or whatever, and it won't work out, but their work speaks for them. But for a lot of us, you guys don't know. You might come in and go like, "Oh wow, this is cool, John. How you doing that?" But you might go look at somebody else's art that's like, they're just starting, and it's like, but they're real, and there's a connection there, and you don't know about that stuff, and you don't know who's out there unless you're sharing, and that ties in again with that breaking through. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about any of that stuff. That's short-term thinking. Think 30 years from now, 50 years from now. Just draw. Just create stuff, guys. Jonathan saying, I learned that fairly recently. It's difficult, unrealistic to business plan your way through art progression, especially towards. Yeah, you're right, 100%. John, any thoughts on how to help push your online presence? Again, just be everywhere and be there for again long time. 6 years, guys. I've been here for 6 years. I've got 14,000 subs. That's not a nose in the air thing at all. It should be higher. There's people that come along with like, there's this guy. Do you guys follow him? Jimmy the Hobo. I don't know how he came in my recommended feed, but I'm watching his videos all the time. I think he's only been out for what, like a few months now, and he's like a lot of subs. You don't know. I don't know, right? Like I can go back to my videos. I think the number one video I have on my channel is the DC Comics Guide to Digitally Drawing Comics, Photoshop method or something into Clip Studio. It's like 100 and something view, 100 and I don't know, maybe 200,000 views. I don't know. I haven't looked in a while. But that's not what my channel is. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows. Nobody knows any of this stuff. You can have like a risky or clickbait stuff. That'll get you some stuff. Those are skeezy. Those things don't last the long term. Just do your thing. Don't worry about it, guys. Just do your thing, man. Don't worry about all this stuff. Jonathan, any places, communities, or smaller events that you know about where fellow artists can meet and exchange ideas? Oh, you're in Toronto. You're 4 hours away from me, my man. So maybe we'll meet up someday. I don't know. There's like a drink and draw. I got to draw. Speaking about drinking and draw, we have a drink and draw here in Windsor. I know there's a bunch in Toronto. 100%. There's so many. Toronto's huge. And if there's not, search for a Facebook group too called like Drink and Draw Toronto or something. I believe Bobby Chu, if you even know who he is. I hope you do. Um, he had they used to go on like subway draw sketches, and that would have been cool. Where you just get on, pay for your subway ticket, and you sit there, and whenever you want to get off, you get off. But there's a bunch of artists that come on, and you guys go like you move from train to train, just people sketching. There's that. I know it might not be specifically what you're talking about. One thing I will address too, this takes a certain kind of person because I know a lot of artists are not open to it. But if it's not there, you got to be the one to make it. And usually that kind of stuff has like some huge rewards. Like you want to talk about building presence. If you don't see something that's there, do it. Might take some stones or whatever the hell. Just believe in yourself. But I don't go to any myself. There was the local one. I went there. Oh man, that was a few years back now. Maybe like 4 years. Jeez, that went by quick. 3, 4 years. And yeah, I went there and it was just people drawing and that was fine. But I wanted that conversation with people. Like what we're doing right now, I crave this stuff and I don't get it anywhere. That's why I stream all the time. You guys are asking like really solid questions that I wish more local people there is a circle somewhere. I don't know where it is myself. And again, maybe it should just be like what I just said, right? Like, well, then I have to start it. Okay, see you later, Pillhead. I'm sure you already left there. I know I'm so late behind all this stuff. Funny that the art speaks for us. I had problems with speaking as a young, even today. You have autism and ADHD. Oh, there's a good combo, eh? Man, so sorry to hear that. And your art, you're right, 100%. I'm glad that your art's been able to help you out. Will saying agree and disagree. I set a goal to study for 3 years and break in, and I did it. But I lived in a situation where I could live off 600 a month for that time, but it worked. Exactly. Yeah. So okay. So like in your situation, Will, where it's again, it wasn't like I'm a year in and this like how come this isn't happening, and like there was some private stuff I know, like being upset along the way and stuff like that, but like it's still that long-term thinking, right? Like it's not going to happen today or tomorrow. Again, it could, and it could happen in 3 years, or it could happen in 10, 20, 30, right? But the thing is, like, things change, and we've talked, goals change depending on like how life presents itself. And that's it. Just being flexible with that stuff. That long term investment in not just ourselves, but like our art over the long period of an audience or anything that you plan on doing. Yeah, have your short term, like have goals for sure. I'm just what I meant, and maybe I wasn't articulating it enough. Is just that thing of it's not going to happen right away. It could, but expect it not to. Just know that when you're doing it, the reward is like the fruit that you're going to grow over the next period of time. You could, like you say, you're in Marvel DC stuff. That's great. In 10 years from now, what happens, right? Just know that all the seeds you're planting now, all that work you're still putting in, if it feels like you're drawing for somebody else's book, that's cool too. But you're still going to reap some sort of reward at the end of all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, could be a title on from one of their another book that you want to do. It could be your own stuff. It could be all these things. It's just knowing that all that it's a slow burn to get a better piece of pie or something at the end. It's not just like it's gonna happen now or tomorrow, and if it doesn't, then I'm upset, and that's it, and the whole thing's a toss in. That's not, in my opinion, in my experience, it's been like that's like a really bad way of just like going about stuff. Oh, V's got a new name here. Here we go. I like it. There you go. Cool. Will just gave the greatest answer here, and this is for the people watching later. So Chaz asked Will, looking back, what's the most important thing to learn to study? And Will's reply was everything. It's the worst answer and the best answer you'll get. It's the worst answer because nobody ever wants to hear that, right? And it's the best answer because it's what you need to hear. And it doesn't matter what field you're in, guys. If you're drawing, that's the reality. So get excited about it. Just draw. You get to just draw. Figure it out. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about making it. Get that out of your head. Do 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 do. Follow. How many hours each day drawing for 3 years? Okay, so Will's going to address that, but I just want to let everybody else know too an opinion on that. So Chaz is asking Will again, how many hours each day? And for those that don't know, Will Robson's drawing. He works for Marvel now. Congratulations! In case you guys don't know already, I'm sure you guys know. He's doing Great Lake Avengers. Doing an awesome job on that. Doing a whole bunch of covers, I believe it was, right, Will? And doing some really great stuff there. So when people are asking Will, he's the guy that's made it, right? He's working for Marvel. That's a goal for a lot of people. So if he's in here and he's willing to answer, you guys just jam him with questions and stuff, and he'll be able to help you out. But one of the questions he was asking, like, how many hours a day would you draw? So this is the way I look at it. Okay, no matter what, you have to put time into something to get it out. Like we've always been saying, right? It's not so much like trying to look at somebody and go like, how many hours did they draw a day? I'm going to do that. It's a great start, but it's your it's not your attitude, it's your habits that you have to like fix. It's the because I'll tell you this right now, okay? So if you go to work, let's say 9 to 5, you come home, you eat at 6:30, it's 7, it's 7:30, and you're not drawing yet. Okay, that's great, but you need to start finding better habits to fit in your life where you can work, because you're gonna have to work no matter what, and you're gonna have to find a way to go like, oh, I'm too tired to draw. Those are the if you can fix that, you're gonna start noticing some like huge gains, okay? Because anybody could tell you I draw 20 hours a day, right, or something ridiculous. Can you do that? Maybe. But chances are you would have already been doing that, right? And that's the thing. You just have to find little ways of tweaking what you do to get more out of your day. Some of us, you got like crazy lives, man. You got kids, family. You're not. If somebody tells you, I draw for 15 hours a day, and you have a job, that doesn't tell you anything. That just tells you like, okay, well, that means I'm going to give up sleep to draw and stuff, right? It's like on your free time, like if it's weekends, after work, after school, whatever you're doing, instead of it's replacing a habit with a new habit. So if you like to watch movies when you get home, or like me, watch an episode of Seinfeld or two, probably two, when I'm eating dinner after work, it's like, okay, well, stop watching that stuff while you eat, because you're going to want to watch the whole episode. You're saving 15 minutes. That's one spot. As you go through the day, like that adds up over time. That's all. Just try to figure out, and everybody will have their opinion, and I appreciate it. Please, guys, just jam it in the chat what you guys would recommend. What you like, share what you guys do. How many hours do you draw a day? As long as you're drawing daily and you're drawing like when you can, and I'm not talking about you need downtime and stuff. I'm saying if you can draw and you should be drawing, then you need to draw. And if you're not, you have to start to train yourself better habits, because those habits will train yourself into like time management, project management, deadlines, all those real things that only, and it's funny, it's just like drawing. How do you draw better cars, women, and stuff? Unless you're drawing them, you're not going to get better. There's no secret sauce. You can't get more time. You can't. That's literally there could be like a pill or a drug you could pop or shoot or smoke or whatever that can make you draw better. I bet there is. Is there one that can make you like pause time? That's a world that's weird, but like that time is the one commodity that we'll never get more of. So you have to use it super effectively, right? Let's see what we're saying here. Oh man, standing desk. Is there any cat on here? I might sit down in a second. Um, John, I feel like an asshole. I've been following you on YouTube. Oh no, don't worry about it, man. I think I just made an Instagram like a year ago, year and a half. Don't worry about it. But thank you for following, man. Will was saying, year one, it was all day, every day, drawing from 11 a.m. to 4 in the morning. I see those were the days where we were actually talking a lot. So if you guys remember like scribble chats and stuff, or what was it, the sketchbook podcast or sketchbook show, whatever the hell it was called, we were doing. That was because he was like, he was up while I was up. Slow down from having a girlfriend and getting better. Yep. You're right. Yeah, nobody ever wants to just practice answer either, because you can't actually like act on it. It's like a up in the air concept, right? Like what the hell does that even mean? Um, no, if you guys got links, I don't care. Throw them up. You guys let everybody know. Go check your guys' stuff out. This is just a stream. I don't care. I'm just drawing and I'm sharing with you guys. This isn't like, oh, how dare you guys post links to your own stuff, you sons of bitches. Ever heard of this comic called Saturday AM? Seems okay. No, I haven't heard of that one. I will check that out though. There's a great podcast interview with Jim Lee on a podcast called Fat Man on Batman, where he talks about how he studied and got serious, and he copied what he did. Before it got slow and needed a part-time job, was drawing at least 10 hours a day. Good stuff. For me, one of the things that encourages me to draw anything is to have a spreadsheet where I input my daily drawing time. Here we go. Has automatic graphs attached to motivate during slow periods. My man. Now he's speaking my language. V and I were like, as many spreadsheets as you can go. Let's do this. John's saying I try to draw 2 to 5 hours a day. That's great, man. Matador, it's tough for me. I'm a single dad. Job is 2.5 miles of commuting daily. The only time I have is on the weekend. So like, the only thing I can recommend to somebody like Matador, and he doesn't want to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it. But like, if you're in these really complex situations, but you want something, the only way you can fix it is by fixing the what you consider the problem to be, right? So maybe the work you're at, and this is like I was actually watching. Do you guys watch Judge Judy? I've been watching so much of that, it's insane, right? And there's this. She says this all the time to like these deadbeat dads, right? Where it's like, I skipped out on child support, and she's like, I don't care if you got to get 2, 3, 5, 10 jobs. You have to do it. It's your kid, right? All that stuff. It's like the concept of like accidental birth, or no, what is it? What do they say? Accidental pregnancy, right? It's like wow, that's not even a thing, right? Like you know what you're getting into, right? But so like if your life is you have to support somebody, so you have to go out of your way to like find like a job that pays like ridiculous amount and you hate it. I don't even know if there's a solution to that besides like maybe what you have to do is like get like side gigs or something to like get you more money or something. I don't know. Like if you're gonna pay child support, let's say I'm not saying you are, but like you got to pay that for like 18 years or whatever the hell it is. Like it's almost like you're screwed for like that period of time because you're like your priorities will always be somebody else, and unfortunately that means you can't do what you want to do. But that's the reality of it, right? Like you have to, and you should want to, not hold resentment for that. I don't even know what I'm getting at with you, but I think it was just kind of what you're talking about reminded me of all those Judge Judy things I'm showing. But like you might have to the one thing that might help you guys, okay, so if you're in a situation where you don't have a lot of time, maybe heavily consider, and this is going back to like even what we started with me talking about like the open line style, is change the way you draw. You might like 90s style art, but you only have like an hour a day to draw. Do you know how impossible it is for you to get like a comic book out? Let's say you're self-published a 22 pager drawing 90 style with an hour a day, right? Like on average it's what, 8 to 16 hours a page. Convert those to days, like you're talking a whole year. And I mean you might do the slow burn like I said, and that could be a transition point for you. Or maybe it means you need to just pull back, maybe go into cartooning or something that you enjoy. You start to learn to love little things about it, and you might be able to get like some work drawing that way, and it might satiate like that kind of that feeling with that. But it's scary when like time's taken away from you, like kind of like what you have to do to like scrounge around to get like that art satisfaction. Rob saying he was reading Todd McFarlane's book last night. He had college, baseball, and job, but he still spent 6 hours a day drawing because he wanted it so badly. You'll find ways, yep, for sure. Work long hours with the day job, so sometimes it ends up being 1 hour. But even if it's just bad scribbles, I find that there can still be something to learn from those. Yeah. And you know what, guys? And like what Will's saying there too, honestly, do you know how many. You guys would be surprised. Maybe you don't do this already, but a lot of you probably watch TV. Stop. Like, almost think about it like budgeting, right? Like, just do not step into a restaurant. Do not go see movies. Do not buy video games. Do not, and all those things might sound like, oh, I need to de-stress and stuff. And I get that. But there is that thing where it's like you got to find the time where it is. Like, you don't need to watch TV. Maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe you need to just watch that to just that idea. This one actually bugs me. When people are like, I just need to watch TV or something just to like shut my brain off for a little bit. Shut my brain off? Do you know how scary that is? Why would you want to do that? Why would you just? You know what? I want to just not exist for like 30 minutes. That gives me shivers thinking about that. Like that's horrible. Why would you want? Why would you want to do that? That doesn't get rid of the problems or anything like that. Maybe I'm probably coming at that from an angle where it's like I don't have those kinds of problems, so I'm not in that deep. So I don't know. Anyway, let me keep this going. We got to keep drawing here, right? This RuPaul's looking real sexy too. Um, hey Felix, how's it going, man? He made a habit, and now I draw every day. The only thing I miss a day is you get annoyed. Oh, if you miss a day, you get annoyed. I got you. Richard saying I got a cheap pocket sketchbook to bring in my breaks at work. Awesome, man. Will saying I treated it like losing weight. I lost 90 pounds once because I wanted to be thin so badly. Just need the mentality to make the real change in anything. Yeah, 100%. I would love to work for the Sonic Archie comics. I feel my action scenes would work for them. I think so too, Gil. I do think so. From what I've seen, anyway. I love spreadsheets. Coffee table comics shared one. Yeah, I have one. I piggybacked off that article hard. I have a link I can send you if you guys want. It's the same one talked there where, and I think Will has it too. I just formatted it for Google Drive. It's Google spreadsheets. Basically, what it does is it says like, when's your start date on a project? When do you plan on finishing it? How many steps are in between those projects? And then it just goes, okay, well, if you want to hit that deadline, you need to finish these like X amount of steps a day to get there. It sounds super weird. For some of us, that's great. That's like, if you want to talk about time management, you could look at that and go, I only need to do 2 steps a day, so that could be what we just did today. And I can go watch TV. I don't care. Because as long as tomorrow you're doing 2 steps, the next day, and it's still building habits, which are great, but you're going to get to that stuff faster too. I have another spreadsheet I'll probably show you guys in a second once we get into Jesop King stuff, which should be super soon. I just got to stop talking to you guys for a little bit. uh, where I've been recording how long it takes me to do each step of my comic page so that I have an average of how long it takes so that I know, okay, let's say it's 5 hours a page. If I want to do 3 pages a week, I have to put 15 hours into the project, and I can just do that. I'll show you guys that stuff, whatever. No, V, you and I were very, very similar, man. Your son lives with you. Okay, so my plan or goal is to get a job that is closer. That would be great, yeah. But all the jobs are in Orlando. I live in, how do you say? Kissimmee? Kissimmee? It sounds like a troll place. I like it. Perhaps work from home or, yeah. Man, that would change your life. If you could find something like that, that would change your life. No, yeah, okay. So the obviously like the visual here is flipped because like if I was drawing, I'd be like looking away, and that's just the storyteller, the art. This is the way that I have the format right now, where I'm drawing into here, is to help with visual storytelling. You guys are probably gonna look somewhere, you'll see me, and you look back at the image. That's what my intent was anyway. So all this stuff's backwards. Yeah, this is just guys. It's my day off. I've got like my pajamas on. I'm rocking just like this lame shirt that I had when I worked back at EB Games. Let's do this up, right? Let's just. I had a shower though, and I shaved for you guys, so you guys can get that nice shine. That's all for you. I like TV for noise in the background. Yeah, that's different. I'd put that somewhere different for sure. Hey Kevin, how's it going? I'm trying to do a drawing a day this year on top of my top sketch cards. Oh, sweet man, good job getting that. I remember those cards. If you guys feel you cannot draw, always draw circles and warm up before sketching, then try to follow this. Then try to draw a face over and over. It helps with things you want to learn. Yep, big time. A lot of there's principles saying like you just open up a document, start scribbling. You're already getting into you're telling your brain it's time to draw, and it'll start to figure stuff out. The hardest part, it's like working out, 100%. The hardest part of drawing, guys, is this. Ready for it? And I've already been showing it for like the last 20 minutes talking to you guys. This right here is the single hardest part of working. You ready? That. This. This. Getting here. Or drawing on that thing. Or your kitchen table. Or outside. That is the hardest part of drawing, period. Second hardest part about drawing, stay the fuck here. Don't move. Don't leave. Take a break, but don't leave. Stay here. That are like above anything else. Those are the two fundamental rules that'll get you better at drawing, period. 100%. I'm going to be right back. Actually, here. This is done now, right? Yeah, we're going to go to line art after this. Uh, Whoops. File, save as rough. Okay. And I'm just going to top up my drinks. My coffee's cold and that's gross. So I'm going to get that fixed up. And then I'll be right back and we're going to do some Jesop King action. I think we already started coloring something, didn't we? Your problem is, well, what to practice. Works best at getting better. Again, hindsight, if I could go back in time, and I've said this multiple times as well, is like that 70-30, 80-20 rule or whatever. 20 to 30% of your time, if it is for drawing, should be always study, because that's how you're going to improve, broaden your horizons, look at comic books, read comics, that kind of stuff. And the other percent of your time, 70 to 80% of the time, should be making comics or drawing a project, product, something, a sketchbook, a sketch a day, because unless you're actually doing your own work, taking all that study, like this is the thing. If I went back in time and I learned how to redraw comics, and if I still wanted to work at Marvel, let's say that, right? Is drawing comic pages every day, and then at the end of the day or whenever the page is done or whatever, and I can go, my building in perspective sucks. So in my study time, I know to study perspective. You see, unless you know what you suck at or what you need to get better at, and this isn't like I need to get better at everything. Of course, we all do. But like your hands suck, your heads don't look the same at different angles. They look like different people. Now you know. Now you know what to study on the side, but you're not going to know that unless you're doing it. That's all. Anyway, okay. So let me get this started here. We're burning daylight here. So let's go here. Chapters, diamonds. And we are in the juicy color phase. Okay, we did. I think we're putting flats and stuff down already. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna leave this here. Be right back. Just gonna grab some drinks and get to some coloring. This will be fun. Okay, let's catch up with you guys. Okay. This was the thing I was telling you guys about. Let me just pull it up here. It's just more of like a timesheet that I just keep on Google Drive. And I think I made a video, so you guys can download that if you're interested in it too. So let me pull it up here. Where are we at? Jesop Webcomic, and there. So it looks like this. I'll show it to you guys again. We'll talk about what it is for those interested. Anyway, so it's just timesheet right here. Super boring. Does this even show up? Let me check. I know my monitor cuts things off. Yeah, okay, it still shows up. So really all you're looking at is I just plug in. This sort of like is a combination of things I've learned at my day job, to be absolutely honest with you. Is like recording time with every ticket you do kind of thing. But anyway, so this just breaks down each flow so far of Jesop King. So I can see, you know, again, how long something's taken me, right? So a great example here is color. You can see this page took an hour, which I got to question that. That seems like that was probably talking heads or something. But some of these, right, they're taking, it looks like around, if you go up here to an average, it's taking me close to 2 hours a page, okay? And that seems pretty low just because of that 1 hour. But the idea is you can see on average how long it takes you to do something. So why does that matter? Well, it doesn't, and it does. But for me, I can look at this, and again, right, you can look over here and see the average time for a page is around 4 hours. So if I go, it's 3 to 6 hours, we'll say right now. If I plan on releasing the comic, let's say 3 pages a day, let's just say that, then that means I need to put that many hours a day on average into it. Some will be longer, some will be a little easier, right? But this is great because as I build this up, as the number of pages keeps going, these numbers are going to get better and better of what's more accurate. So that's why I keep track of this stuff, right? And again, let's say I'm out and about, I don't know, and I've got like a half hour to burn. This isn't even real talk, what I'm saying. What I was going to say is, like, let's say you have like a mobile studio. You can look and go, I got an hour or a half hour to burn. It'll only take me like a half hour to do some writing. Okay, well, maybe I'll do that. Why I'm saying that's not real is because I don't have a mobile station to do all this stuff. But anyway, that's there. I just want to show you guys what I was talking about. So this page that we're working on, what page is this? This is page 5. What did I record? So it took us an hour and a half to get to this, which seems a little long to be honest. Most likely I was having a stream, so I was probably talking to you guys. What was going there? Yeah, his channel is amazing. No joke. I don't think I would have ever pursued art if this channel didn't exist a few years ago. It has given me a positive art community. Well, thank you so much for that, man. I do appreciate that. Honestly, I do. Thank you. To me, it's still super wild. It's almost unreal. But, you know, thank you. Thank you for saying that. That's a very kind thing to say. Well, this channel was what made me switch to digital. Well, thank you, Will. Appreciate that too, man. And everybody else, I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you guys for being bros. What's like the girl version of bros? You just call girls bros? Hey, bro. Anyway, okay, let's start fudging around here. So where did we end off? You know what's cool about Manga Studio? I don't know if you guys noticed this, but when you when you open up a file, a layer will be highlighted, whatever the last layer was that you had. So what's cool is I can come in and I go like, where was I? What was I doing? And it's like, oh, I was doing this layer. Okay, cool. So I can get back to it. Again, I don't know how many people would get something out of that, but it's a little fun little thing. I'm just going to duplicate the window, just move it over to the side so I can see how the color looks on a real monitor. These Cintiqs, man, like these older ones, the color is just, it's all lies. It's all lies. Okay, where are we at here? Oh, that's not right. So we're working on flats right now. It's the most boring part. I'm going to be making a video for you guys. I'm going to be putting it on Patreon first because people have asked for that. Or maybe I'll do 2 different ones. Yeah, I'll do 2 different ones. One will be this, for Patreon, we'll put up there to be the slower, maybe not working as slow as I'm going right now, but where I go a little bit more in depth of like why I pick a color or something like that. But the sped up one is for the rest of you guys. It'll still give you the same information, just won't be as granular. Just talking about like how I color this stuff, because a lot of people have been asking, and it's it's not my way of coloring. Uh, I've just picked it up from a lot of different people, and I use it at my day job a lot. Except there, I also do like another pass of highlights. Which, if you notice with this project, all I'm doing is flats and one pass of shadow. I might use glows, like in this lamp panel here where Momo is shooting like fire. I'm probably going to put a little special effects in there. I don't want to put too many in there because I want page consistency, right? And when we're doing web comics, if it's just you, of course you can do whatever you want. But remember that thing I just showed you about time. You got to be conscious of like how long things are taking you and why you're doing decisions, and I don't know. It just feels a little bit more critical to. You can't just do whatever you want. If time is a problem, you have to find where you can cut corners. So, yeah. See you, Will. Yeah, or if you again, I continually recommend it. If there's one, if you guys are interested in digital art, I highly recommend the DC Comics Guide digitally drawn comics. Everything Freddie talks about in there. Some of the lingo might be a little different if you're working in Clip Studio, but the practical part of drawing is the same. The only thing you can't do, or at least I haven't been able to do very well, is the building faces. And some people don't even like doing that. And if you don't know what that is, that's like making a path. So using your pen tool, and a lot of people don't even like using that. But you use that and you design sort of like if you took a picture of a building, all the windows and stuff, you just draw that. And once you have a path of that, you can always reuse it. And when you make buildings like rectangles in perspective, you can take that path, adjust it in perspective, and then stroke it, which means draw the lines, and it's clean and it's precise. That's all. But sometimes you don't like doing that or whatever, right? But other than that, I mean, pretty much everything I'm doing was followed from that. And you don't have to draw that way, right? It's just I think it's a great launching point to sort of get you going. And the one complaint I hear, if I heard a complaint at all, is that people just don't like the drawing style. If you can get over that, there might be something in there for you. That's all. Hey Kevin, how's it going, man? I have every second Wednesday or every second Friday off. So we work. Was it 9.5 hours a day? I forget. Something around there. We work nine hours a day, I believe it is. So that gives us every. So that means the first Friday we get done work early, like an hour and a half early, and then the second Friday we get off. So yeah, I think we've been doing that at work now for a little over a year. Everybody seems to dig it. I like it. Getting 3-day weekends every now and then. It's nice, man. Oops. My arm's hitting that. Yeah, we'll stay in here. This right here, guys, I'll tell you right now, is like the slow part about doing flats. Manga Studio's got this really cool way to just fill in shapes. Like it predicts, sort of like if there's a gap in the line art, it'll fill it anyway. So when you're filling in characters and stuff, it just goes so fast. Way better than Photoshop, in my opinion. But when you get like organic things like this, it just you may as well just be in Photoshop. I found it. Hey Sean, how's it going, man? Got lots of people coming in today. That's great. Okay, so let's talk about some Jesop King stuff. Sound fun? Cool. So the last few weeks I've been sharing with you guys talking about changing the format of the book to go into a little bit more I don't want to say webtoons, but I think that's where people just sort of understand it. It's not a horizontal scrolling comic, it's a vertical scrolling comic. So it's actually native for like a website or your phone, perfectly for your phone. And what's cool about that is the stuff that I keep reading, stuff I keep seeing, people I keep asking, more and more people consume their comic content on a phone. More so than web nowadays, okay? So there's something there. I don't think it's going to go away, right? I don't want to say it's going to get worse, but it's just reality. as more people get phones, which a lot of people already do, people want to consume what they want to consume when they can and where they can, right? So if you're on the toilet and you got your phone open and you just click an app, it opens up this thing and you just somehow found comics on there, whatever, right? So there's that. So what I was thinking of doing was formatting it for that. So then I had some thoughts over that over the last couple of weeks, and I've been working on a client project that just wrapped up. And what I've noticed is, you guys know how I bounce back and forth on projects, right? That's one of my weaknesses, if not my worst weakness. Um, and I started thinking about like changing what I was doing for that format, and really over the last couple of days, I would say, is now that I'm done working on it and I'm just back to just drawing, finishing up what I had started. It's like, it's what I'm noticing is if I leave a project for a little bit, that's when I give my brain time to stop worrying about like making more of what I'm doing and start thinking about like problems start creeping up, or decision making. Am I making the right decision, and all that stupid stuff. That stuff you'll always think about and it'll never go away, sadly. So what I'm thinking anyway of doing is we're just gonna stick with this, and Jason Brubaker, he has his comic Sithra, I believe it is, and he cuts it up and posts specifically on Webtoons. So I'm thinking I might do that. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, I'm still going to stick with this page-a-day updates, even though I don't really like it. I don't think it's appropriate for phones and web. I know I don't necessarily like looking at comics a page every few days or whatever. I want batches of story. So we're going to see how that's going to go. It's all learning experience. The only way we're going to learn is just keep doing, right? So that's what's going on with that. But I just want to give you guys a little update. What's been going on with all that stuff? Jordan's at work. Cool. No, you're right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, I do think a lot of people. You're right, Kevin. A lot of people don't look like they don't. They see the paint bucket tool and it's been tainted from them. You know what it is? I think it's this right here, tool property. It's the one thing that primarily for me changes the game over Photoshop. Because in here, there's so many adjustments just like that, like stabilization, when you fill something, how far, my God, sorry, I forgot to even set the clock. Bad habits. Give me a second here. Let me start this here while I get on my little rant. So yeah, when you're drawing in Manga Studio, you can fill it up so that even if a gap is like this, and normally in Photoshop it would just, you're getting an outside line, it'll like fit in here, and you can adjust that pixel density that you want it to check things out. So it's cool, man, and it's scared a lot of people off for sure. So I know I can understand why people don't like using or trying Manga Studio, because it is, it's a whole new piece of software, and when you're efficient in something, arguably there's no real reason to change, But do your thing. Oh, she's happy. She's got this thing about fireworks. I don't know why. She's trying to let Jesop know, like, dude, we're gonna go check out some fireworks, man. Hey, Tyranny, how's it going? All right, so what do we got next here? So we got fire. So just give me a second here, guys. It's been a little while since I've been here. So SFX copy. Why do I have that? What's in here? So we got fire. Oh, right. Okay, so I put all the special effects on its own layer. Right, okay. Now I remember where we're at. So I'm going to turn that off. Oh, I put the ground in there too. Oh, there is no ground. That's awesome. So panel 1 is done. Panel 4, we got Jesop, Momo, background. Okay, we do have a background. Oh, man, that looks cool. All right, sweet. I don't know if we're using that color or not. We'll have to see. The Sagan 1, where is that? So what is going on with... So this is the problem when you leave certain things at certain stages, you forget where you're at, you know what I mean? Oh, I would appreciate the fan art, I really would. If you do draw her, and this goes for anybody, if you guys draw any fan art at all, thank you. But please, tag me in wherever you're posting it, and I will share it everywhere I can as well. Thank you. Okay, So why do I have just this? What is that clip to? Okay, I think I moved this in the wrong thing. Okay, so I move that up there. There we go. Okay, so what I was doing, for those of you interested in coloring anyway, and didn't know what the hell I was talking about. So, um, check this out. If I, yeah, unclip it. So, you see how all my drawing here has, here, let me turn these guys off. So you see how I was drawing this, the spaceship and all the colors start spilling out? Well, if you do this one little trick, it does help. I've noticed it helps me anyway. It's called clipping mask. I didn't know what the hell, I stayed away from clipping masks so long. Screw them, right? Um, 1 second here, sorry. So the thing that you get the power anyway of a clipping mask is what you're doing is you're just defining the shape. So I've defined the shape. You can see it here. It's like this cream color all the way around. So when you clip something to it, even if you spill over it, it won't show that stuff. So I know it might be a little hard to process for those that don't use it. So if you see, like, as soon as I turn the layer on, it's like disgusting. It's like all spilling out. But in Manga Studio up here, up under where it says you can change your blending mode, it's like a, I don't know what the hell, looks like a can maybe. You just click that, and what it'll do, you'll see it'll get like a red bar on that layer. That just means it's clipped to the layer below. So if, again, just one more time, you see how it's got this, the shape is, it's perfect. It's following the shape of the ship, but then it spills out. So if I clip it to the shape that I just made below, it gets rid of that. So no matter what I do, I can go crazy. None of those lines will show up. So what's really cool about that, and why I recommend you guys try it, is like, check it out. So like for Jesop, this was the shape I made for him, right? So if I unclip all the color, you can see it spills out and stuff like that. But I can just clip it to the layer below. And if you ever wanted to make a selection, however you like the color, I think if you hold Control and you just click the shape, it'll select him, right? That way you can still adjust things. Some people, they put like the colors on separate layers and stuff. Because of the way that I'm working with this, or I'm just putting like a shadow over everything, I don't need highlights. I don't even really use it that much, but just for you, you guys might enjoy that. Oh, can you guys see the stream? Did it disappear? Hey, Sean. Don't tease me with your art skills, buddy. Don't do that. Hey, Dustin, how's it going, man? It's like a quick mask, yeah, pretty much. Except quick mask, even that, I want to spend some time at work, maybe like 10, 15 minutes, just press Q and understand how the hell that works, because I don't understand it. But it's like anything else in digital or whatever. Once you learn how to use it, it's like, oh, that's it. It's super easy. Okay, give me a second here. I gotta sit down, stand it all this time. Hey, Jojo, you having a nap? Oh, that's a good boy, eh? Yeah, having your nap. Okay. So I'm not sure if I like the colors back here, but let me open up a previous page just so you guys can kind of see colors and stuff that we brought over from the last one. Hey, no problem. Can you guys see it all, or is it just Matador unfortunately having a problem? If you guys can't see, let me know, and I can just kick this thing back in gear. Okay, so I got another page open here that we did, and again, these ones are super quick. And I know it doesn't probably look like it, but what's important here for me is to just look at it and go, okay, what were the colors that were pulled from certain things, right? Like, so the background here is a blue sky. But here I've got this orange one. I know I was going orange because of the fire, but I don't know if the fire is going to pop if it's still like this. So we're going to have to see kind of how this goes. All this point, all I'm worried about right now is the flats to make sure everything's good. I think we're good. We got Jesop, got Momo. Most ridiculous name in the world, Momo. What the hell is that? Okay. So let's put this in a layer. I'm going to put that. That's his ship. That's the Sagan 1. For those of you that don't know, it's named after Carl Sagan. was thinking of naming it the Tony K. That might be something else. It's a guy that I worked with in Toronto. Uh, I honestly, there's few people you meet in life, and I wish I lived next to that guy because I honestly believe like whether he wants to be a best friend, I'll get schooly on you guys. I would love to be that guy's best friend. We talked all the time. This is like some borderline bro love stuff, but like we would go on walks at the park in Toronto. I didn't know anybody when I moved up there, but we'd go on walks in the park just to watch the ducks in life and just little things, right? Like I was so into like he got me turned on into like space and the cosmos and Carl Sagan, and it opened my mind to stuff that I was like, this is, the world's a beautiful place, right? This was before I was even vegan and stuff. So we would always do this stuff. When we would go on walks, we would just talk about like concepts, like it almost felt, I know it sounds probably really lame, but it was just stuff like, I remember us having a really good conversation about space, right? And you'd look up at the stars, and each one of those stars, and I know might sound like some of you might not even know this, most of you probably do, but like a sun is a star, right? Or sorry, a star is a sun. So when you put it in context, look how huge our sun is. That's just because how close we are, right? But when you look up and you see billions of twinkling lights, each one of those is a sun, and you just start to like put things into perspective of how like we're just so small, right, and stuff. Anyway, so those are like we had so many awesome talks, man. He was a really cool guy. Unfortunately, I never see him now that I moved back to Windsor. But needless to say, because of him, he opened up a whole other world of like stuff that I'm so glad and fortunate to have even been interested in. And it was just something like two friends talking about stuff, and it was like, man, this is cool. Anyway, so Carl Sagan, I'd watched Cosmos, the original one, and I was just like, this is, yeah, let's watch this stuff. So anyway, that's the name of the ship. Really long-winded way of getting in there, but yeah, anyway, that's a stun is a star. A stun and a star. Oh my god, can't spoke. So yeah, so that's the name of the ship, Sagan 1. Oh, thank you, appreciate that. And the coloring, guys, like, don't get me wrong, the flats that you pick are super important, but you're going to see, we're just going to add, like, one layer of shadow, and we're done. We're done. Okay, so I think we got all this here, right? So we got our background. What is this? Is this the page? I don't know what this is. Okay, so we'll leave that. So we're going to lower that. We got our ink layer. Oh, you guys might like this. Check this out, okay? Another powerful thing that I didn't even know about Manga Studio. I know how to do this in Photoshop, and it's a really long-winded way of getting there. Long-winded? What? So let's say you have artwork, right? Let's just say you scan something in, or you're done, or whatever you're moving, and this is the layer, right? It's just all your artwork is on that layer, okay? What you can do is you can just go up to Edit, Convert Brightness to Opacity. Watch this, okay? Are you guys ready? Are you guys butts ready for this? Hey Jojo, you click it, check out what happens. It literally converts all the white, gone. It's gone. So who cares, right? So let's make a new layer. I'm going to fill it white so it looks the same. Who cares? This is why it's cool. Now, if you lock that layer, whoops, that's not locking it. Let's lock that layer. Let's just say I wanted to color my line art. Oh my god, look at it. Let's just fill it. Look how cool this looks now. Now you can color line art. That's powerful stuff. So something to think about if you guys are interested. Photoshop, it was like how I got to this was like, oh my god, such trouble. I don't know how this looks if you shade with gray and stuff, but anyway, again, let's just go to Edit, Convert Brightness to Opacity. They could have. It would have been funny if it just said make line art. I don't know how the hell. Maybe they thought a better way to write it than obviously what I'm doing. Anyway. John, technical question. What specs are recommended for video streaming purposes? What do you... so the computer I have is... I don't think it's that good. I'm not a big tech head either, unless it's video games. It is an Intel Core i3 4160, whatever that means. 8 gigs of DDR3, integrated graphics card, a terabyte hard drive. Like, that's it. That's this, and that's just streaming. I use OBS, Open Broadcast Software. It's free. Download that. That's how you can stream. If you want to stream on YouTube, just make an account, and when you go upload, on the right it says Get Started or Stream. You click that, and it'll actually have all the info you need to plug in to OBS to stream. As for the quality, I'm still messing with that stuff. I just use like the default stuff. I haven't, and I put a lot of pressure on you guys to try to help me out. So if you guys, like, if the quality sucks or something, there's times where we had to stop and adjust stuff to lower the quality. And I think most of it has to do, not necessarily your computer for sure, and this isn't a great computer, but your computer definitely. And the second part is your internet. If you've got like crappy upload, that'll affect it too. And then the webcam, that's going to take a huge toll on everything that's going on. It's almost lagged a little bit, I think, when we're streaming live, but when they recorded it, it seems like it keeps it. So I don't know. Yeah, no, Gil, you're right. That's exactly how I did it in Photoshop. You had to like remove all that crap. No, 100%. Okay, so for this project, to keep it stupid simple. Yeah, I know, right, Kevin? It's great. Oh my God. See, I'm glad, guys. I was looking so hard for that because I'm like, I'm working in here and I want to color, but I want to separate the layers. How do I do it? This is insane. How come I can't do that? This seems like this is unreal. This is a comic making software. You have to be able to separate line art. You have to without putting it on multiply. Multiply is great, and if you just need quick stuff, yeah. If you ever have the intent on coloring line art, like you can't do that on a multiply layer, right? So it was good. I use a hard line. I used to do it on Wi-Fi as well, but I moved into a different room now and I've got it hardwired in, so that helps too. But the Wi-Fi was usually pretty good. Again, that's guys your own internet's gonna determine a lot of that stuff. So I might change some of this line art before we publish this to go live. But if you guys look, I changed the color. It's actually not black. It's like a very dark blue. It's almost black, but I might lighten it up a bit. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure this one is the same blue. I don't think. I don't know. I guess it's a little different. Anyway, okay, so we got the blue there. This is all I do here for shadow work, guys. Here, where's panel 4? Yeah, so right here we have this on a multiply layer. Again, I'm going to make a new video for this for you guys, so I'm hoping next week, since we're already doing coloring. So if we change the multiply layer to normal, this is the color it looks like. And I'm just going to eyedropper that and put it on multiply. Now the reason for that is it's a super quick way to color stuff. Some people would do this with gray or something, but with purple, it's like the normal color that will always work with everything, I find, and it cools things down. But what's powerful, and we're going to get into this probably in this bottom panel, I'm going to change it from like a purple shadow to like a red to make it feel hot, and I'll show you that as well. Sorry. Girlfriend's just texting me on lunch. So check this out, right? So you can have this color here, and if I want, you can go Control U or whatever to change the hue saturation. But you can just sort of pick, right? Like so here you can change it. Maybe that look like this looks like it could be nighttime color, if you ask me. Now we're in like a swamp or we're into like some evil dungeon, right? So if I go red, let's see if I don't even know where it's gonna be. I would recommend picking a color. Maybe it's around there. I gotta like move the saturation way up. Maybe this comes down. I don't know. Play around with some of these settings. But this is it. Like red never really looks that good. But sometimes in the context of what you're doing, it'll work. But like even this, like it has a different feel, right? So you just sort of figure out what you're doing. And like the color, I don't even know if it's showing up on the color wheel. Let me just pull it out to show you guys. So this is about where I'm at right now. Again, you don't have to use that as like this is the way to do things. Just start there. Maybe start here and then experiment with stuff. And like I said, I started doing this even at my day job, and nobody can really tell. Not that I'm trying to be sneaky about it, but nobody can tell that like I'm not using like so. What you might do when you normally color is instead of using like a dark red for the shadow, you'd go into purple, and then blue would probably go into purple. Let's try to see some other colors. Like green might go into like a bluish color as well. Basically, you're just shifting things, right? So let me show you here. So like he's got a yellow eye, so the shading might go into like a greenish blue, right? So it might not look the best, but it's a quick way to do what we want to do, right? Again, we're trying to just do this as fast as we can. So you kind of have to take what you can where you can and just keep pushing forward. And it has a lot of range. The second thing, and I'll stop rambling in a second, we'll start doing this in action, is like it's super sloppy. I just noticed this. Like, look, yuck! I missed all of that. But I don't think you can notice when it's zoomed out. But when I do my shading, which we'll do in a second, I promise, is I always use like this, right? So I'm just sort of carving out shapes. But then in Manga Studio, there's a brush. It's just like a watercolor brush. Add water or something, and you can blur it, so it almost looks airbrushed. And what that has helped me is it just gives it like a second level of like depth, right? So I can put like a blend into the shoulder and then like get some hard cuts where the muscles are. You can see in his finger. Another way you guys can do this is I'm going to use this example here for his hand. You can actually use the marquee tool, right? And what you want to do is just like select it and a little bit out, and I'll use his pec here as well. And this is a quick way too if you don't like using certain tools. You go like that, filter, blur, we're going to Gaussian blur, right? And just like, I don't know, move it up a bit. You can see it, right? And you click OK, and you're done. It's similar to what we just did, right? And it might be a little faster for you as well. You're just blurring what's there. That's all. But the reason I don't do that, nothing wrong with it, but I don't do it because sometimes I like this little spill that kind of happens. It feels a little bit more organic, like you're working with a tool. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, enough running our mouth. Let's get some serious work done here. All right, so we're going to start simple. We're going to start up here. What's panel 1? Okay, so I don't even have... All right, so let's make a new layer. And again, we're going to clip to her. You can add shadow to the whole thing. Some places you need to. But since she's the only thing I'm really adding shadow to, I can just clip it to all the color. We're going to change it to multiply. I still have that color that we already picked, right? Thank you, Dustin. Appreciate that, man. And then I just pick like one of my inking tools, whatever, and check it out. Like as soon as you start drawing over it, like this is like the shadow color. Oh, I lied to you. I gotta go to color. I was like, why does everything look gray? There we go. See? So you can quickly run it over everything just to see how it looks too. That's it. It's it's pretty simple stuff. So sometimes I'll use the brush or I'll use this lasso fill tool. So we'll see. I just need to see where our light was coming from. It's coming from the top down, right? Super simple. That's why I love working like this too, because once you get your flats done, you can just do this and you're done, man. See you later. Let's start doing more pages. Because I was toying around with the idea of like adding highlights and stuff on everything, and the more I started looking around, guys. I'll be honest with you. I was looking at other comics that I'm a big fan of. A lot of new ones coming around that are they're starting to look a little bit like this with this sort of shading, and it makes a lot of sense. I think it's a lot of video game people coming into comics, like especially mobile game studios like where I work, because it's a really efficient way to work. It's quick, and if you're doing any kind of comic, right, like it's just you, usually. Let's try to like build up some shadow here for her face to be pushed up. Put some shadows over here for her eyebrows, or her eyelashes. And if you're not doing any highlights or anything, like you could always put highlights over top of this stuff, but if you're not doing highlights, it keeps a lot of the work really simple, right? Because all you're worrying about is, all right, so I've got my color where it's supposed to be. All I have to worry about now is where's the shadow. And once you have that, you're done. It's weird. A lot of time when I was learning to color, and I'm nowhere even close to where I would like to be with color. Not that I want to be a huge colorist, but my day job sort of like the better colorist I am, the better the product looks, right? So it's important for me to get better, but at the same time, for the comic, it's not. That kind of goes back and forth. But when you're not adding like your highlights and stuff, or when you do start adding highlights, it's like you have to always use them. That's why when I used to draw for a while, it was always like it's 3 steps. There's the flats you put down, then you put the flats, then you do your shadows, and then your highlights. Some people do it the other way around: highlights, then shadows, whatever. But those are the 3 key things besides like other sort of effects, right? And when I started working like this, it was like I can just do flats and shadow and walk away. Cool, you can gain a whole bunch of speed that way too. So these long tentacles and stuff, they're like ugh. There's a lot of like filling. It's simple stuff, right? So I just do something like that, and I'm just gonna draw the inside here, and we're gonna fill this stuff, so you'll see. So we'll have that. We'll do the other tentacle. And it's gonna be exciting to see how some of these pages start coming up. Like I haven't even drawn a building yet for this project, right? They do go to a little village, there's a fight that'll happen and stuff. But I imagine at some point these characters are going to go to like some galactic city, right? And that's going to be. Oh. All right, well, let's see how long this stuff's going to take. I'm sort of dreading it, to be honest with you. Hey, Will, welcome back, man. Hey, glad you can make it. Lasso tool fill. Yeah, I know, man. That's good stuff. Are you going to color the entire comic, or are you coloring separated? All of it. I'm either coloring it all, or I'm not coloring it. The main reason why I've gone with the decision to color is because of where this is going. It's going online, and I have found. You guys can let me know what you guys think. I've asked a whole bunch of times, like, do you guys prefer to read color or black and white? Some people they don't even. It's like it's not. Who cares? They just want to whatever tells the story better or tells it the best, right? That's great. But if you guys remember, the intent of me even doing this stuff was to build an audience, not just for this project, but just for my work in general as well. So, what's going to grab the most attention? And hands down, it'll always be cartoony and color. It's the way it is. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So I had to make that choice. I'm like, well, if I go color, there's got to be a quick way to do this because I don't want to slave on every page. That's not fun to me. You know, if it's not fun, don't do it. There's no point because then it's just work. And if it's just work, go get a job somewhere else. Like you make money other places, and it's not even about like slaving over something you love. You know, it's not even about that because what I love is I want more. So I need to hammer out more stuff. So uh, all that sort of combined is like, okay, so I have to hit these requirements. So that's what has to get done. I don't know if that answered your question. I don't. Well, pro tip I've been using recently. I've been penciling and inking in red, less hard on the eyes. I can see the weight's easier. Yeah, me too, dude. The blue. Do you guys know? Actually, Will, you might know. Let me know. So when you click, my ugly face is probably mixing. You can't see it, but you know the little button you can click to make a layer blue. Like if I just click this, it'll turn it blue. That actually looks pretty good. Let's go on this layer here. So if I turn it, all the line art turn blue just by a click, right? Do you guys know how to change it so that it doesn't do that? It defaults to a selected color. So if I wanted to, I could just make it red. Because I'm in the same boat, Will. I much prefer red than blue. And if I could just press that button to turn it red, instead of having to always go like this and then click in here to go, okay, well now I want to go over to red or something and turn it like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just an extra step. So if you guys know, please help a brother out. Help a brother out. Color no comic, you just want the comic. Yeah, I know. I know. Sorry. My question is: are there people who like black and white but hate color art? Yes. If you can think of a combination of people like and hate, they're there. I'm just saying, from what I've seen and heard anyway, that's just what I've been noticing is that more and more people, not more and more, but a lot of people prefer color. And the thing is, like, if you're not good at coloring, I can see where maybe, and again, not, I'm great at coloring. I don't want it to come across like that. But if if you have a little bit of skill in coloring, it'll help. What makes it difficult is like when you have to start worrying about things, right? Like, so what happens when these guys go into like a volcano or the frozen tundra? You got to like, there's rules in coloring, right? But at the same time, it's like drawing. The more you do it, you will get better, right? So I just have to go. All right. Well, I color pretty much every day at work, so I'm hoping that will help me bridge some of these gaps with like what could happen in here. You know, that's all. And we'll see. We'll see. All right. Let's soften up this cheek. All right. Let's zoom in. I think like so. That's what I'm saying. Like boom, done. All right. Let's go to the next one. That's a lie. We need a some shines in the eye. Oops. Trying to put a little extra shine in there to make her seem a little extra cute. Like she's doing the puppy dog eyes or something. What is she even saying here? Oh, right, she's just trying to... Gotta go see fireworks. Got it. Got it. Okay. Let me scroll up. You guys are lighting it up like usual. And hello, everybody that's watching, too. Feel free to subscribe and like it. Whatever. do what you want here. Color or no color? Yeah, okay, so we got there. My question is, are there people who like black and white but hate color art? Because I think it's much more likely people who like color dislike black and white than reverse. I think it's more likely that people who like color dislike... you might be onto something, too. And the trick is trying to ask people that are going to consume this that aren't comic creators. Because I find anytime you ask anybody that makes a comic, what do you think about this? Their opinion is so different than what like the average person likes. Good example is at work. I'm doing like design and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to put this here because this is, this will look better. And then everybody else, like the programmers and the boss and stuff, they're looking at like, no, just get rid of that. It's too much stuff. You don't need it. And it's like, I think you are totally wrong. But in the grand scheme, like you don't even hear people don't care about like the little stuff. So no, I definitely think you're onto something there. Gil, I need to know how, but I need to find an easy way to tell you how. Let me scroll up to see what you're talking about. Okay, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about there, Gil. Just let me know. Jonathan, you do it in the settings. Let me quickly check. Oh, right, you guys trying to help me out. Sweet. Layer properties, alternate color, pick gray. Oh, no, sort of, yeah. I prefer to read books in color, the way color affects the subconscious. No, yeah. See, so that's just it, right? Like, I could draw, like, I was even thinking of using, like, our Copic brush that we have, screen tones, learning maybe some of that. So if, the thing is, like, you go into, like, a dungeon that's lit by, like, an evil boss, a skeleton boss, let's say, right? There's greens and purples in there. Hopefully, if you can convey it, will help sell that. Whereas if it's gray, you can only play with your tones, right? Like how dark something is. Not that it's not doable. I've seen some spooky, scary shit in black and white, right? So you have that. But then in the next scene, they're in like the frozen tundra. Color, you can sell all that. That's not even a problem. Again, if you can color. But in the black and white, like there's certain things that aren't there. And again, if you're trying to, in my opinion, you're trying to build an audience, you need things that catch the eye. So if you're even decently good at something, there's there. And if you're not good at coloring, you just got to know what you're doing, right? Like if you look at a lot of web comics, they're all color for the most part. Some of them aren't colored well, but they're you know what I'm saying. Maybe I'm all over the place with this. Have you seen Ultra Street Fighter 2? It has Evil Rao and Violent Ken. Hey Tito, how's it going? Ultra Street Fighter 2, really? Oh wait, was that for the Switch? Was it part of that thing? Okay, so no. Okay, again, if anybody doesn't know how to quickly switch that, like I was up in the settings and stuff, right? Like I'm over here, and I'm like, okay, I just want to see a box that says the color that it changes to. I'm like, is there blue? Is it somewhere in here? Is it one of these guys? Like, and I couldn't find something. Yeah, but if anybody knows how to quickly do that, please, I would be grateful for that. Okay, so let's get back to the stuff. So panel 2, we got Jesop. Make a new layer. We're going to make it color, and we're going to clip to the layer below. Yeah, exactly. See, and that's just it. Like, something else to consider when you're, at least one of the things I've tried to consider when thinking if I should use color or not, is what is it like? What is the context and the audience that you're kind of going for, right? So like Bernie Wrightson, 100%. All of his Frankenstein stuff, like to me, even Hellboy could be black and white. It doesn't need color. Things that are like dark, noir, horror, heavy drama, like they can all, like The Walking Dead. I'm just looking at the comic there. Like all these things, like they're a little bit more serious, so they work with black and white. Something that's a little bit more cartoony or maybe a little bit more jokey or fun. I'm not saying it doesn't work in black and white, but I think it would probably, you know, maybe resonate with more people if it was color, because you can show emotion and stuff a little bit, right? And I know in this comic here, again, like it's intended for all ages for sure. I can't wait till we start drawing some action. It's all like talking heads for like a long while and like showing some backgrounds and stuff, like establishing shots. It's fun to do, but it's not, it's not this big guy here just punching the hell out of like sandworms and stuff. That'll come. That'll happen. I can't wait for that stuff. But I know like like just even these three panels right here. If I'm doing a decent enough job with the color, even down here once we get to it, when she's shooting fire out and stuff, like it has a little bit more weight and punch to it with color. And the only real negative is your ability to color and time, I would say. So they're all decisions you got to be, you have to be weary of for sure. Go to your layer properties, and there it will say alternate color of gray, and click the box. Okay, hold on. Okay, you guys are all like getting me all hyped up here. What? Go to your layer properties. Okay, let me bring that up. Layer properties. Okay, and in there it will say alternate color of gray. Uh, no, I don't. I don't see it. You might be thinking of something else, Richard. I'm not sure. I'm not. So what I'm doing is like, okay, so this layer that I click, it turns everything blue. I just want it so that it does a different color. So I want to do red instead of blue. Instead of, I don't ever want to go in here and have to click and click settings. I just want to click that, and instead of it being blue, I want it to go red in this case. That's all. Unless there's like a setting I'm not seeing here, and that might be cause some confusion too. Yeah, Saturday morning cartoon, 100%. Okay, yeah, Richard. I think it was a little different in four, though. I appreciate you trying to help, though. What do we want? We want all layers. I actually wanted to try this too. You guys let me know what you think here. I think I saw it originally from like Lacine. Is it? It's not Lacine, right? It's Lashawn. Is that what it is? I just call him Lacine Thomas because I can't read. And Cannon Busters, or the way he always used to do shadows. I'm considering it here. I'm not sure though. Is like you kind of do like these triangle shapes. It's like I say, we're not doing rendering in the comic, but just by adding this kind of thing, it adds texture. So I'm considering it, and I'm not 100% sure yet. I can go back and add it to the pages, and I might just do a test. But you guys let me know what you guys think of that kind of thing. Hey, Kendris, how's it saying? Yeah, what you're saying. Well, let me. No, what you're saying works, but what I'm asking anyway here, let me bring it on here just in case so I can clarify because I think it's not helping because this is off screen. So what Will and I or other people are saying is when you click this button right here, right, it automatically changes it to blue, which is great. What we want it to do is I don't want it to be blue. I want it to be red every time I just click this. I don't want to have to click, pick red, and click again. I don't, you know what I mean? I just want one step like this. So when I press this, it's red instead of blue every single time. That's what I'm looking for. Like if you guys know how to do that, that would be awesome. If you can't, I mean that it's a bum out. Maybe it's something that you actually can't do in this. But if you guys know, that'd be great. Really, I've heard of those too, man. I'll have to check those out. I haven't been messing around with too many brushes. Have you found any other than that one, like any brush packs that are like really good? Oh, you do, Gil? Just send me an email if you want. An action, yeah, okay. That's good. Yeah, there's always that too, for sure. I didn't even think about that, man. Oh, everybody's talking about the auto actions, eh? Oh man, it's smart. I mean, it'll work. Just I find it unreal that there isn't anything. You know what I mean? You'd think there'd be something. You can adjust almost everything in this program. All right. Oops. How was the shadow behind him? Did he have a shadow? It was a gradient. Okay. So we're gonna make a new layer. Merge down, color, multiply. Where's our gradients at? Okay, cool. Give me 1 second. Let's see if Gil saves the day. Oh wait, was it my Hotmail? Let me check that. Yeah, every time you send me stuff, I don't know why it always sends it to my trash. Okay, it's not spam. Okay, let's see here. Moment of truth. Click to change color. Click to save. Oh my God, you're genius. Mwah, digital kisses. See, okay, so we're gonna do this, and just to make sure that it works, I'm gonna put it down here so you guys can all see it, so you guys can all do it with me. Okay. This should work, but this is again that language we were talking about before of Photoshop and Clip Studio or Manga Studio, whatever you like to call it, where it's like there's things that don't match up because the language is off. Meaning, right here, register to initial settings. That's the game changer. Thank you. There, let's try it. So we're gonna change the color first, right? So let's get a nice juicy color. Let's do this. Oh man, game changer. All right, let's pick a nice red that we like. Oops. Let's get a. Okay, let's go to color here. I don't know if that's too dark. We can change it, whatever. So we want that, and we're going to click up here, and we're going to fill it with that red. Click up here and go register to initial settings. What do we got here? Layer color, that's what we want, right? Click that, okay. Now let's try it. You guys ready? Oh, that's hot shit. Let's try it where it matters. Let's go here. Let's go to our line art. Are you kidding me? Are you guys kidding me? Thank you so much, Gil. Thank you. Let's all, no, let's do this right. Let's all give her a little applause. Manga Studio, there you go. Learning the language. So there you go. Pro tip from Gil. Good job. So I'll mess around with that later, but great. Do you know how awesome that is? Because like I say, the blue's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But like what Will was saying, and I agree, is red, for whatever reason, you can build with it better than blue. And I don't know if it's just because it's so vibrant. I don't know. With blue, it gets wishy-washy if you're using pencil and stuff. I don't know. But if you guys need me to bring that back up to share it with you guys let me know. But that was great. Matador. Always being a pimp. I love it. So now, for all my script users out there, you can save your F key or whatever you used for like another script. Oops, I shaded the wrong thing. That's right on. Register to initial settings. That actually changes a lot. I'm just thinking right now in my head, like there's been times where it's like I want that to be the default thing it's doing, instead of always changing a subset of something. And the fact that you can just do that, so it's like every time you click on it, that's the thing. That's the new normal, not the software normal. That's huge. I don't know how many of you know how huge that is just yet. Maybe in your workflow you don't use it, so it's not that big of a deal. Whoa, why is there black? Oh, I've been. Ooh, no. Shading with the wrong color. I think the command to change your color is Control B. Oh, okay. It's right where it says layer property, Will. It's like the little arrow with the 3 dashes on the literally the left side of it. Literally the left side. If you need me to show you again, just let me know. So right here, buddy. This little button right here. Do you see it? I don't know if it's coming up on my monitor because it's so small. But layer property, it'll be this little button right here. So you go in here, you change the color you want, and then you come up here and go register to initial settings. You click that, and then I'm assuming, I don't know if this is true or not, but I just did it. Click this layer color. That's what you want to register, and then hit OK. Then you can just noodle around, I bet, just to find the certain shade you want. Alright, so she's spacing out here. So let's get... Whoops. I think it's little things like that too, Gil. Like anybody else that we just, that or sorry, that they just showed us. It's little things like that that people need to see that. There needs to be a video online to show that. But it's so specific that like the wording has to be perfect. I can't imagine, like the few of us that were asking about it right now, like we're the only ones. Like that's impossible, right? But it's that wording that's like, what is that word that I search for besides that whole sentence, right? How do I, whatever. Um, if you can figure out a way, you get them hits. You get them hits to your channel. All right, shade all this up. Cool. Bang, bang. Oh, you don't have that. Maybe it's really you don't have that. Maybe you need to update your Manga Studio. Maybe. Anyone take advantage of Comic Craft's New Year's font Dale? I don't even know what that is. Talking about free fonts. So this shadow actually looks pretty heavy. I might reduce it a little bit. Just zoom out like that. It almost looks a little bruised. So let's lower the opacity. Like I like the stunned look, but I don't know if that's just, it might be too much. Just pull back the shadows a bit and see how it looks. I think we'll stick with that. And let's go to eyes. Yeah, sorry man, it's too bad. Should be. I don't know why it's not there for you. So you're just saying hide layer, show. What version of Mangs do you using? I don't even know how you check. Version information. There you go. I got 1.6.2. Oh yeah, you're looking at the wrong spot, dude. Here, let me minimize this so you guys can totally see. This is where you want to look, Will. Right? So, sorry, actually, sweet. I forgot that I had it up. So this is what we got sent right here, right? So right here where you're clicking, where it says layer property, it's right there on the left. This one, not down here. Don't. This has nothing to do with like the drawing layers. The only layer you need to worry about is that layer that you click for the blue. This right here. That's it. That's what you want. If that is what you're doing anyway. I still can't believe you haven't bought it, man. That's so, come on. It's so cheap. There's sales all the time, man. I can't, that can't be the reason why. Maybe, oh wait, does that mean that you can't get updates? So you're probably still working off vanilla, maybe? Maybe that's why. I don't know. Anyway, I have this now. If you need me to show it or send it to you again, just let me know. I got it for you. Trying to find these speed lines we have. Oh, it's on here. Okay. So what speed lines are we going to do here? What's the text? Uh, let's try like a dark red or something. Yeah, that might work. I like that better. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So done, 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 and now the big guy. Wait, was that? Yeah, so maybe it was on an update. Yeah, just buy it, man. Come on, it's super cheap. Actually, hold on, hold on. Okay, so currently, right now, dude, it's European. It's $46. You come on, $50. You can do that. If you want the EX version, I don't know if you need it. 200 boners, but just wait for like a sale, and I think these things go down at like half price. Like, I think anybody would agree. $200. I'm not saying spend that. $200 for this software, that's a steal. When it goes on sale for like $100, like that's not even a joke. Yeah. See, so Matter is saying yeah, same stuff. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, to each their own. If you don't need it, you don't need it. Okay. Okay, so remember what we said here? We were going to try like a hotter style for the shading. Still going to shade it the same way, but then we can always just change the color, right? So let's make a new layer, multiply color. And I'm going to do this a little backwards. I'm going to fill him entirely in shadow, and then we're just going to cut out where the light source is. I'm hoping this makes it also look a little extra hot, like everything's casting so much light on him. Yeah, man, ask him. Send him an email. Never know. Never know. Okay, so there you go. Everything's in high shadow. So what I'll do is let's try to find a color for it. So let's lock it. I'm just going to go right to red, see how red looks. So ideally, the red is going to give it enough heat, you know, like to make it feel like he's surrounded in fire. I'm just looking off screen here to the other monitor here, guys, so you can't see what the hell I'm adjusting here. Yeah, thanks, Gil. Thanks for hooking everybody up, too. Appreciate that. Yeah, this should be up. Just trying to think. I got to go in a half hour to sell some books, but I'll be streaming afterwards as well. Um, so the stream will be up, but I will be making another video that's just a sped up version of this stuff. Um, so if you want, look forward to that. I don't know if like this red is just too. We're just going to saturate the hell out of this. Thanks, Kevin. Okay, see you later, Quincy. Appreciate you popping in, man. Alright, so let's just try this color here. Let's just try it. Okay, so we got this one here for Jesop. Let's do Momo up here. So multiply color. And we're going to do the same thing. I was going to fill her with that color. And then we're just going to erase out. I mean, for the most part, it's just super quick shadows here, because she's pretty much just the apex here of like the shadow, or the light source, I should say. How does that look? Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so we got that, and sag in one, same thing, new layer, clip, color. Alright, so we got all this. Let's do the fire up. The fire up. Boom, 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 boom. Alright, what color we got here? That won't do. Let's get some red. Alright, so this is going to be a trick. I've never really... This is like a big test. I know you guys, it doesn't matter to you. But, so trying to figure out, remember how I said you're just working flats with a shadow layer and maybe an extra light source or something, but we want to keep it simple. I don't want to have highlights, right? So with the fire and magic, I think that's where I'm going to break that rule, where we can add like a little bit of blending modes and make it sell a little bit, because it's not too much work. However, like organic things are the things that we're going to have to learn how to figure this out. right? So like here, I'm gonna lock the layer to the one below, and sort of like build up the fire, I suppose, before we start adding in like airbrush effects and stuff. It's pretty much like cell shading for sure. I'm just gonna try this out here. I'm just making lasso selections here. And it's going to be like that orange that you can kind of see that I have selected. I'm trying to keep the energy high with these things. Alright, so we fill it. How does that look over there? I mean, like, that's a lot of fire. This is a lot of fire. And it's funny, in the next panel, or the next page, when we see Jesop, it's sort of like the fire's flowing off of him, and he's just got the smile, and he's still talking. It's like, yeah, I get all that, but still. It's like he's invincible to it. Big war machine. She's right now in this panel. She's talking. They're going back and forth. It actually lasts for quite a bit. This is what, page 5. Is that right? Yeah, page 5. And they're I guess debating back and forth. They need fuel, right? Jesop's just excited that yeah, we need fuel. That's cool. You made a mistake. You didn't grab fuel diamonds they're called here when they stopped off at the intergalactic grocery store, I guess. I don't know what the hell it is. And he was supposed to grab fuel replacement, but he didn't. He got excited. There's some kid inside there, and he started asking the kid about the wrestling match. He bought some hummus and bread. He ate all that, but he forgot about the fuel. So they crash land here. Not crash, but they land because they got no fuel. And they're like, okay, well, let's refuel, whatever. And that's when it's like, okay, well, I forgot. So Jesop's more excited. He's like, holy crap, look where we are. This is great. I haven't been here in so long. You're going to love it here. There's like, yeah, it sucks, but we get all these awesome things to go see. We can make a picnic, all that lame stuff. There's a tribe of beings on here called, what did I call it? Are they the Tupos? I think it's the Tupos. To play off Kupo from, so Tupo. There we go, Tupos. From Final Fantasy. The Muggles, that's all they say is Kupo. Anyway, so if you want to go visit them, they'll give us some fuel for sure. I haven't seen them in a while. It'll be great. This would be awesome. This is great. But they were already on their way to go see a giant fireworks show. So she's like, no, we got to get fuel right away to go get those, to go see the show. And they go back and forth. So here she's like, she gets lost, like right here. She's like, yeah, I get all that. That's fine. But you don't understand. These are fireworks, man. Fireworks. And then here, I put the text, right? So I'm going to change. I don't like that white text is just placeholder text. We're going to change the color of that, right? Right, so she's like, we're talking about fireworks here, big boy. Fireworks. And she's like a magic user, so gives a little chance to show some. This is really the first action period that you see in the whole book, and it's like 5 pages deep. So I'm kind of like, not scared, but like, I don't know if that's the best way to show this stuff. I don't know. Anyway, so we got the fire kind of coming along. I'm going to change the color of the line art, I think. But do you guys see what I'm saying with the red shadow? The red shadow hopefully helps sell that there's heat happening here. That's the whole intent of it anyway. And this fire stuff is looking kind of janky, but we'll see how this goes. Boom, boom, boom. That's a good question, Matador. I'm not sure. Right now, in the background, I showed you guys. I can show you if you haven't seen it. I'm keeping track of how long each stage of the process takes me in a spreadsheet, and then it averages out how long it takes me. It's a little bit of a lie because I do stream with you guys, so I ramble a lot, so I'm not drawing while I'm talking. But even still, that's going to tell me how many hours it takes to do certain things, so I can decide once I go live like how long it'll take me. Right now, I'm thinking anyway, it's probably going to be like at least 2 pages, maybe 3. I don't know. A page a day or a page a week would be, that's a joke. I know I could do that for sure. With my workload anyway. I don't mean that in an offensive way for those of you that are doing webcomics and you're like, Jesus, you know how hard it is to do a page a week? Just like with the style and stuff that I'm doing, it's very quick for me. But I don't want to push it too hard. I don't want to get burnt out, right? This is just a story. There's going to be a whole bunch more, hopefully. So, I'm not sure yet. There's no rush. Just make some cool stuff, you know? Like she was PM. Okay, so let's see what we got here. I'm going to grab this red, go a little darker, go into the purple a bit, and I need the line art. I'm pretty sure we got that in a separate layer. So I put all this on its own thing. So let's just try it. Multiply. Ooh, that might not work. Let's see. Go to color. So by changing the layer color, it softens it up a bit so that, you know, things like fire or water, you know, they don't have like a stark black line. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So this line here, why is all this stuff on multiply? Did I draw on white or something? Right, so you see how everything's starting to lighten up a little bit. I don't know how well it's coming through on the stream here, but so we'll have that. We're gonna still put some special effects over top of this. But before we do that, should probably have some shadows on the bottom layer. The BG. Okay, so make a new layer. Multiply color. Let's grab that pink. Sorry, I'm hopping around on you guys here. I make a page 2 months. And that's the other side of it too, right? Like we were talking about, guys. I mean, you just have to know how your work style is and your stuff. Like how I'm drawing is, like for me, it's super speedy, and I wouldn't expect everybody to, you know, draw in a certain style. But if you're trying to like hit like X pages a week or something, like something's got to give, right? So you might have to change. And this is actually going back to like what, a couple hours or an hour ago or a couple hours ago when we were talking about this. Of you know, if you have to change your style a bit just so you can get more work out, might be in your best interest. Wait, I have speed lines for this panel too, don't we? Let's remember that. Is it this one? Yeah, we got speed lines still. Damn. Let's see. Yuck. Okay, well, I don't want to forget about that. Alright, let's grab our gradient tool here. There we go. Get some heat. Some heat. And we're going to get the yellows and stuff, but usually I find when you're doing this kind of thing, if you hold on that bright highlight stuff, you can toss it in a little bit later. Really make it pop. So working with the dark values as much as you can, and then slowly building that up. Okay, so we got that. I think I'm not going to worry about doing anything for the background. Actually, let me try something. Let's see. For the rocks that are in the background. Nah, forget it. Okay. We're noodling. This background color, though. Oops. Just want to try the actual sky color that we have, just to see. Alright, so if we go blue and maybe go a little later than that. So let's see how this looks. I always try to hit 5 pages a week, but it takes 5 to 8 hours to complete a page. If you can knock that out, man. Everybody, yeah, that's it, man. Just do your, you know, I keep saying this over and over again. Just do your thing. Whatever works for you, right? That's what you want. Okay, so I like this blue, but it's just too much blue in the whole thing, and I'm wondering if just keep going back. Like this is like there's a lot of heat going on here. So if I go, yeah, you know what? I don't mind this. This keeps it all. Okay, let's just keep going. Trying to decide too many little things that overall aren't going to matter, right? So let's figure out Okay, I want the text in there. We're going to fix that in a second. We got this. This kind of reminded me a little bit of, maybe let's just try like yellow. Oh, we're going to make it color. It's kind of reminded me of like wind kind of getting pushed out when I saw it. And I'm like, it's not bad. You know, I might just keep that like that. It's kind of cool. So the fireworks text, let's see if we can fix that before we, no, okay. Step back, John, step back. Let's do some special effects still here. I think, you know, okay, let's try it. Let's just try it. We're going to do, I think it's overlay. Go color. We're going to grab an airbrush, and let's go like a rich yellow, just to see how this is going to go. And I'm just going to get nice and fat here. We're just going to, so screen is not what we want. Is it screen that we wanted? Interesting. It's none of these. Sometimes you guys find this, anybody that's doing coloring and stuff, and I don't know why it does this. Photoshop works like this, okay? If you have a layer, anything under it gets affected by it for the most part. In Manga Studio, I find if you have folders, but you have settings in folders as you go, sometimes it won't affect things that way. Like watch, like I'm gonna move this above everything, so it's on its own layer now, right? Because I want this to go over the line art layer, wherever the hell that is. That's way down there, right? So if now I start going like screen, is it? Do you see what just happened there? I don't know if you guys can tell. Let me just zoom in. So what I'm trying to get this to do, right? If you look, is it's just here. Let's just fill it with white or yellow. Gross, right? So I'm gonna fill it with like I think it's a screen. And look how, do you see how light it just got? Like, let me zoom out. Like, it looks pretty sick, if you ask me. Right? Like, it's too much, but it almost looks like a nuke went off, right? Like, you get that. I'll see you later, Kevin. How it just makes it all look like, holy hell, there's a bright freaking light that just went over it. But if I move this into this layer, it for some reason, like, there's nothing wrong with this folder, but it just changes the way it is. And it's like, this is what I want, you know, this sort of thing. And it's just not. I don't know what the hell is up with that. Anyway, I was just bringing that up in case any of you guys have noticed that too when you're messing around here. I'm just gonna keep fiddling with this. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's way too bright, but let's get the screen. Let's see if we can erase with a soft eraser here. And we're just gonna cut all this out here. So I want Jesop to be a little darker. The blue looked way better. Oh, you liked the blue better, did you? Yeah, I could see why, for sure. I just want the heat. Let's keep calling it. Let's see if we can lower the opacity just a bit. I mean, like, this looks, don't get me wrong, I love it, but I don't think it has to be that dramatic. And if you, like, double it up, you can get, like, double that shine. Let's just condense it. See, and you can actually, like, move, like, little glow areas places, too, which is pretty sick. But we just keep it. I just want to say you can definitely see who it is that's saying it, you know. The last thing we can do, and this is why I'm hesitant with a lot of this stuff, because like once I go this way, if you go too far with this, in my opinion, if I go too far with this, then like this simple shaded stuff that I'm doing, it doesn't work that well, because then you're like, just do everything with this highlight stuff, right? And then it diminishes, in my opinion, kind of what it's doing, right? Like if you look at this page, there's lighting effects that I actually did here, where it's like these gradients, where it looks like there's light, hopefully coming from the bottom of those rocks, right? So when you zoom out, but like if everything's like this stuff, this is a big culprit of it. It's hard to see, but like I even had in this first layer here, let me show you the background. Is it still there? Just trying to find. Maybe it's above the line art. Anyway, it's hard to see, but I had like a blue shine in the background a little bit just to push the line art back to give it depth. And there's nothing wrong with that, but the part that I have to keep remembering is to keep it simple. I don't want to do that too much because then it's like everything should have it. Because then if it doesn't look good next to each other, they almost look like they could be two different things. So that's why when it's this, I want it to pay off a little bit more. So it's just something that, I've been thinking of. So what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say anyway, is if we go like this, we're going to go layer, new correction layer, color balance. Okay. Now just look at the bottom one. I'm trying not to look at the top one. So if we go shadows, I'm going to go into the blue and the cyan. And then we're going to go into the highlights, and this we're going to push the yellows and the reds, right? Like it makes everything a lot more rich, and it looks really cool. So bring this back down just a bit, right? So if I click this off, I'm going to grab black because it's still like a crop that it's doing. Right, so we're going to fill that with, oh, can you not do that? More tricks you learn. That's great. Or wait, is it white? Hold on. Alright, let's back this up here. Let's delete that. Interesting. I didn't know that. The way that it does its color balance works a little different than what's going on. I don't know. You know what? I'm just going to leave it for now. I can always come back and adjust it. I'm going to call it done. I'm just going to fix text here. How do you feel about pencil pages? Some artists like it because they can sell them for like a legit page. I honestly think if that's your workflow and you dig it, 100%. Also depends on the project you're doing. If you're doing like a big profile book, I think it would be cool to have, like Freddie Williams talks about it, of having a few pages that you could sell because you never know. It's a great way to make money on work you're doing already. I honestly think it's a great idea. I would do it if I could. If I had something that were worth it, like these pages, I don't know if anybody even want them. I'm not even looking at them to sell, kind of thing. But they're there. But I don't have that audience so far that wants legit artwork. For me, anyway, so far. But no, I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. So I'm just duplicating the artwork here so you guys can see it. And we're just going to rasterize each one of these things. How do you do that? Or it is already rasterized, right? Yeah, cool. So now I can just lock fill these things, right? So, right, I could fill this with bright red if I wanted to. Maybe not, because it's got to be in a color there. There we go. So let's see what we're going to do here. Oh, it's got a stroke on it. Okay. Make a new layer, clip it. So I'm just going to pick like a yellow that's already in there. And let's grab our... Yeah, I don't know about any of that stuff. Yeah, what Inkbot brings up. Who did I see? Doug Tenaple talked about that a long time ago. I don't know if he still does, but like I could have black and white pages, yeah, and I could print, let's say 10, and just go, there's a limited edition print signed of that page. And if you want it, you could buy that too. It's a limited print, so that's sort of like the enticing thing. Plus, it's signed and dated. That's the other thing. Your asking price is probably much less, but you could offer that too. Because some people, right, like they just want the art. They don't the original has like some weight to it, but a signed print or something like that too. I've heard of people doing that. Thank you for bringing that up, Inkbot. Yeah, that's a real thing as well. All right, I'm gonna call it for this page here. I'm spending way too much time on it. We can come back to it with fresh eyes and see how it sits. Okay, so I'm gonna call that one done. Let's go over to our, where is it? Online timer. So we'll say an hour and a half. This one was by far the longest page that I've done. I know, just from like the special effects part there. So that took 3 hours to color that page. That seems way too long, but that's fine. Okay, so, whoops. Let me just fix this too, because this text, why is that? So let's rasterize that, and we'll just delete it. Okay, so that one's done. Let's close it. And open up. What's our next page here? Page 6. I should have kept that open. Yeah. Oh well. Okay, so what do we got here? Text, fire, and inks. So remember what I said, guys? If you guys are, I don't know if you guys are following along. So we've got our ink layer here, right? This is from the inking we did. So what I normally do is just combine these layers, and that way it's just its own artwork, right? Great. We have our fire layer on its own separate one, so we can still do the same kind of effects. It's kind of like a special effects layer. If you think when you're working like this, keep your special effects if you're drawing them on a separate layer. That way, because again, you might want to go back and change the line art color if that's something you're into. Okay, so we have that. Let me just save this file as the color version. Okay, we're gonna save that, and once we have this layer here, we just go up to Edit. Convert brightness to opacity so we get all the line art separated, which should happen in a second here. Cool. And just get the color that we want for our line art because it's not black, right? So I'm going to lock that layer, fill it, so now it's kind of like a blue, a little hard to see. And we're going to make folders here for each panel. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put P4, P3. P2 and P1. Make one last layer. I'm just going to fill this one in with white. And that white basically gives us our paper back, you know? So now I can just go into each panel here. I'm just going to make a new layer in each one. And these ones are just called BG for background. I'm just going to pick like a gray for now. All this is for is just to separate from the background, right? So we're going to select all this and fill it. Do that for each layer. Obviously, these will all change color and stuff, but let's turn the credits and the guides off there. Right, and then we're pretty much, you know, like I said, this goes really quick, and thankfully, Manga Studio has some stuff that makes these things go a lot quicker than they might go in Photoshop, let's say, especially with the filling of the flats, which we'll do in a second. What was I going to say real quick? Oh, so Photoshop might be able to do this too. I don't think you guys can see this, so let me just bring this. Damn it. All right, let me just bring this here. So you can open up swatches in Manga Studio, just like you can in Photoshop. If you're doing a webcomic or something you draw a lot of, I would recommend just do flats for each of your characters because that speeds things up too, right? So like when we click on Jesop King, like these are all his colors. This purple is actually, I think, the same color. Let me just double check here. If we go to panel 1, sorry, panel 4, this one. So I want his shading color, right? So it's on a multiply layer, so let's go to normal. If I click this, I just want to see. So we got that color, and if we click this, okay, it is a little different. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to click this plus to add a color, right? And then I can click here and just delete that one. So now this is just for me going forward. So what the hell does all that mean? Well, if we bring this back down to multiply, so we have that. So when I have in here, what I do is I go through every panel and just do Jesop. Again, think of in terms of batching work, right? So instead of flatting each panel, because you're gonna, what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna have Jesop here, go over here, go to Sag in one, his ship in the background, then the background, and then go here. For me, I find if I just go Jesop, I have it open here, right? I just go all the way through the colors, bang, he's done. And do that for each one that they're in. It just speeds it along for me, right? But also, now that I have that shadow layer, I know I can just go here, click that without having to do the eyedropper that you just saw me do, and save it that way. So I just want to show you guys this because you guys might be, I don't know if you guys use this sort of thing. You know, there's nothing wrong with opening up an old document you have and just eyedropping that either. Just whatever, you know, you dig that keeps you moving forward. Hey, thanks, guys. So what time is it? Okay, so I'm going to say bye-bye for now. What I'll do, you know what, I'm going to keep the stream going. I'm just going to put up a little like temporary image here, and I'll be right back. I'll probably going to be about a half hour, maybe 45 minutes to an hour around there. So should I even just kill the stream? Yeah, I think that's probably the smarter way to do it, okay? So I'm going to kill the stream for now. I'll be back in about an hour. If you're following me on Twitter, I'll make a quick tweet about it. I don't want to jam up my Facebook with this crap. So I'll make a quick tweet about it. And if you guys are interested, come back. I'm still going to be coloring. We got this page. I think we got 3 other pages. Let me just open them up so we can see. So we're going to be working on this page. This page. This one I can see is going to probably, actually, it won't take that long. It's just simple stuff here. There's a lot of things on it, but it's not like it's big time stuff. And then this one will be super quick. So these are the 3 pages we're going to be coloring. And like I say, it's not that, it doesn't take that long. But anyway, so if you guys are interested, come back, follow me about an hour, check my Twitter. I'll make a tweet about it, or just stay here. I'm sure it'll flip back over. I'm not 100% on that. And if not, well, thank you so much for popping in today. Some really great conversations with you guys. I do appreciate all that. And, if I don't see you, that's cool. Thanks for popping in. And like usual, you guys, keep reading comics, keep making comics, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.